Here we are.
All right. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Red Dot Forum Camera Talk. I am one of your co-hosts, David Farkas. I'm joined, as always, by Josh Lehrer.
We've switched sides for this episode, so don't be freaked out. Just logistically, we need to be in different spots, so it's going to look weird in the thumbnails.
It's going to look really weird.
Other one.
For sure.
That's so funny.
Yeah. Of course, producing the show, as always, is Jose Rivera.
Hello.
And we've got Kirsten Vignes hanging out in the chat. So give her a howdy, how you doing? Okay, so after long last, after brushing with this however many times we have from all those other episodes,
yes,
what are we talking about today?
Today we are talking about Leica and macro photography, the tools and techniques we have available to us within the Leica ecosystem to take close-up photos. This is a topic we have, as David mentioned, sort of skirted around and covered in various levels over the past 25 episodes we've done. And now we are finally doing an entire episode dedicated to using Leica equipment for macro photography. We've got a cool new setup we're going to try, hopefully without epic disaster. That's over here, which is why David is sitting there. So hopefully everything goes smoothly. I know Jose has lots of different angles to juggle, so I am sympathetic to his cause today. But yes, so of course, please ask questions. That is why we're here. We've got a good amount of toys to show, including some of David's favorite.
Yeah, and some of my personal lenses in here.
Yes.
So we'll get to some of that. But I think we want to definitely just right up front say, this isn't necessarily an anthology. It's not a history lesson. We're not going to walk through every single last macro option that Leica's ever offered and what bellows adapter for the Leica Flex 3 or anything like that. Not that those don't exist. They do. But I think what we're looking at, and Josh, you really, kind of summarized it very eloquently earlier when we were talking about this.
I did. I mean, a rare moment of eloquence. Essentially, the objective of this episode is the practical application of available Leica equipment for macro photography. I mean, there are lots of obscure or hard to find vintage components, ELPROs and ELPROs and all kinds of stuff that we know exist and we've seen them and they're cool, but that's not what we're going to be spending a lot of time on or any time on this episode. This is about how to practically, for a Leica enthusiast who doesn't necessarily want to go hunting around on the forums and whatever for obscure parts, how do you make good macro photos with the tools we have at our disposal?
Right. So let's say, basically, we're covering accessible, modern and near modern options that produce good quality, that aren't finicky, that just work and generally work fairly easily for just about everybody. So that's what we focused on here, because otherwise things just get out of control. So what systems are we taking a look at today in terms of what's going to be capable and able to do macro photography?
So we've got, although we didn't actually grab a CL, did we? But
I have one outside.
Okay, it's all right. So the focus will be L mount lenses, M mount lenses, and a few R lenses. I know we're always dangerously close to doing an R lens episode.
It's like a brush.
Maybe one day, but I have to be clear, the logistics of trying to gather the R lenses we would need would be, we don't have time for that.
It would be significant.
Yes. Anyway, so M lenses, L mount lenses, R mount lenses are going to be where we're talking. And then of course the Q2 kind of thrown in there as well.
Because that has a native macro functionality.
Exactly. And then, what accessories within these various systems are compatible and how do they work in practice? Because what we've got is an SL2 set up that will allow you to see in real time the macro view and what we see, which is going to be cool.
Right. Just off to the side here, I'm touching it, but just off to the side, I've got.
Don't touch it too much; it's going to knock it over.
Seriously, this is collapsible.
It looks quite precarious.
It is a little precarious. So what we've got here is a macro photography tent. It's nothing special. Honestly, I just kind of picked at random a higher rated one on eBay, or not eBay, on Amazon. It's like maybe $50. So this isn't exactly a professional product photography tool.
But it works.
But it works today.
Yes.
Right now. And we've got a couple different subject matters. So we are going to be...
don't move it.
Well, it's okay. We can move it. No, so we're going to be showing a watch. And... Ooh, this is so fancy. A box of crayons.
That's right.
Yes, but wait. There's more.
And the plant. Don't take it out of the... Don't move the plant. You're never going to get it back.
And a potted plant. Okay, so we're going to be doing macro photography with flowers, which I think kind of shows what most people are going to be using macro for, which is out in nature or while traveling, getting detail shots, because we don't just want to see how sharp something is.
Right.
We also want to see that fall off, the color rendition, the bokeh, and just how well it renders and how pleasing it renders, because it's not all about the sharpness.
Right, and we talk about this a lot when we get questions like, what is the best insert question here? I will sort of have some definitive recommendations like that this episode, but given the amount of options we have, and we only have a few of them here, because there's obviously only so much we can show, the possibilities are basically limitless. I was doing some testing today, trying out different combos, and after like 3 hours of trying out adapters and ELPROs and lenses, I was just like, okay, I have to figure out where.
You gotta dig out of that rabbit hole, right?
Yeah, where the practical side of that was, and that was pretty enlightening for me. I don't do a ton of macro photography with all the bits and pieces. I mostly just use 1 or 2 basic setups, which we'll talk about. I think if I know us, we'll probably spend a disproportionate amount of time using the SL2. That's not because we think that's the best camera for macro. It's just the easiest to demonstrate.
Yes, because we have an HDMI connection, right, which you can't see, right out of the camera, and you're able to actually see a full 4K clean feed out of the camera.
Yeah.
So this is, pretty much going to show you the actual quality on a per pixel level, because we're broadcasting in 4K, we're capturing from the camera at 4K, and you'll see all the quality.
Yeah.
Both. You'll also see a little bit of difference, we notice, between live view, which is very, very good, but it is better when you take the image and zoom in, because instead of I'm not sure, I guess it's about 6 megapixel live view image to be on the EVF, but it's obviously a 47 megapixel full image, and then we can zoom into it to check all the details.
Yeah.
So the SL2 makes an ideal testbed for this. And of course the M, well, great, and we have lots of options for the M10, or any M for that matter, that has live view. So that's going to be anything from the M240 generation or the M10 generation. While those are great options, there's no HDMI out.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult to show you the people what we're getting. But since we can put M lenses onto the SL2, there's no downside there.
Yeah.
Now with the Q2, I do have a Q2 here, and I have hooked it up to the Photos app through the iPad, and we've got a screen capture on the iPad. It's definitely not as good as what we've got out of the SL2, so just bear that in mind, that it's not a perfect solution, but it's what Apple lets us do.
Right, because we do lots and lots of talking, but we also want to show. So we are going to do our best to demonstrate in real time the performance and the functionality of these tools using the SL2 over HDMI, and then the Q2 via Wi-Fi to an iPad over HDMI to the live stream. I mean, it's a
little kludgy, but
it's gonna work.
We worked it out.
So let me just poke around TV. I saw a question that only want to bring it up because number one, someone's asking, as a dentist, Ramin, if I butcher that, sorry. As a dentist, I use Canon camera to take close-ups. I'd like to find out if I can do the same. But I actually know of at least one dentist doing that. So you should email me, and I'll put you
dental photography?
Yeah, I'll put you two in touch because I don't photograph a lot of teeth. But I know someone who does with Leica gear. So
that's an entire field, medical imaging.
Absolutely. So yeah, I think that's... but hopefully the things we talk about will
apply. Yeah, it'll apply.
So should we start with the best option, or should we start with the more obscure one? I don't know where to start.
Where should we start?
I think we should start with the older option, with the older stuff. I think that would be, because we're going to want to spend more time on the modern stuff. No?
I don't know. We talked about a lot of stuff in setting this up. This is one thing we actually didn't discuss.
I know, right?
So you're getting a little behind the scenes look of our
what should we talk about first?
Did we talk about this?
Well, let me see what the questions. I know I saw at least one that I wanted to.
What do you got?
Josh shaved. I feel like I've shaved it before. I just depends on our schedule because I'm lazy.
Right.
We are going to talk about the 100 macro R. I know I saw at least one person mention that.
We got it right here.
Daniel says, I tried the 120 or the S120 on the SL.
That's it.
With the S adapter L. It was amazing, but I traded it back when with the 100 Elmer and R with the R to L adapter. I agree with that. I think from a size perspective, certainly, and I think from a close focusing perspective as well. But they're both excellent. We'll talk about why you would choose one over the other as well. So let's talk about R lenses first, because that always seems to be a topic that gets people going. So David, what is we have two R lenses here. Tell us about what we've got
here. So you're going to do the show and tell,
okay,
or at least the show.
So what we're going to do is I'm going to show. David's going to talk a little bit, and then we're actually going to put it on the camera and show you through the camera what the effect of
the lens looks like, both wide open and also stop.
I'll try to get to like where I'm normally going to put this, Jose, so you can get a close up. There we go. I can see the close up camera that you guys can't. All right. So why don't we start on the close up, and let me make sure I get it in focus.
Perfect. Yeah.
Looks good. Dave, what do we got? What do we have here today?
Well, let's. We've got a little slide too, a little infographic.
Give Jose a second. He has many things to juggle.
60R.
I'm so sympathetic. Hey, that was good, Jose. Good
that was good. Oh, you got to move over a little bit. There we go. Little center. Okay. So what we have here is actually, this is my lens. This is a 62.8 macro Elmerite R. This lens is an oldie but a goodie. It was introduced originally 1972-ish, maybe a little earlier, maybe a little later, depending on who you ask. But it is definitely a classic design, and it was produced all the way through 2009 when the R system was phased out. This is a full-frame lens. It's an R mount. You could show the mount there.
Yeah, and not terribly large. I mean,
no, not at all.
I've got the focus. Here we go. Fully extended. It still fits in my hand. It's not. This is the second version. E55 filter thread.
Well, third version technically, right?
Okay. Well, this is the latest version, and these are not that expensive. I haven't sold one in a bit. The last one I sold, I think, went for like $1,000. I'm not saying that's cheap, but for Leica lenses, that's pretty cheap.
Yeah. You want to know what I paid for that?
I don't. I'm sure it was very little. Yeah. They've got up in price for sure.
Yeah.
So this is not so. Just to be specific here, none of the R lenses are natively 1:1. This is 1:2, I believe, right?
It is 1:2 natively.
Actually, it shows you right there.
Yep.
You can see. Oh, that's I never even noticed that. That shows you how prepared I am.
What's that?
Oh no, this is for the so the scale you see here is for when you have the macro adapter attached. You see there's like a green scale. There you go. I'm doing a bad job. There it is. So it actually tells you on the lens your reproduction ratios, which is pretty cool. Because Leica made a macro adapter for this lens. It is basically an extension tube. There's no optics in it. We don't have it. I kind of purposely didn't want to show it because it's pretty hard to get. Pretty obscure.
It's pretty hard to get.
And I don't know. I mean, how deep down the rabbit hole are we going to get? So
yeah, and I mean, you could just. I'm throwing this out here. This is also not super easy to get, but you can also use a 2x extender R on it, which would give you more macro capability because it would give you 120 millimeter with the same minimum focus distance.
So I'm going to pop this on the Leica R Adapter L. Now what's cool is, can I get the close up, Jose?
I think you're a little out of focus.
Wait, there we go. Okay.
Yeah.
Because this is a ROM lens and the Leica R Adapter L has the ROM contacts right here, when I mount this lens on, the camera is actually going to know that there's a 60 attached. So it does have a pass-through for the ROM contacts, which is pretty cool. So again, this is the 60 macro R on the R Adapter L, which I'm now going to hand over to David, and he is going to pop this onto the SL2, and we are going to see how this.
We're going to make the magic. We're going to make the magic,
works.
right?
Make the magic happen.
Making the magic.
Here we go.
That is another 60 that we're not talking about yet.
Not yet. All right, here we go. Let's see how this works.
All right.
First thing's gonna turn it on. Now you guys can't see this, but it automatically came up. It said new lens detected.
I actually should show them that.
And it gives. Can they see that? Can we switch to the SL2?
Here, I'm just. Or we could show on that SL2, but.
Well, anyway, it says new lens detected.
Yep.
And it automatically recognizes the fact that it's a 60 f2.8R lens. So
with the product code.
Yeah, pretty awesome.
So I selected that just by confirming by pressing the rear thumb button. Yep. Okay.
All right. Now let's try to get some.
Okay. Now we're gonna switch to the live view here, and we're also gonna try to label these so you can see.
Very nice.
Okay. Now it looks amazing, right?
Let's not spend too much time on
this.
All right,
well, here, let's actually go to the working one so you can see me focusing. There we go.
There we go. Okay.
Okay. So I am going to obviously focus this manually. As you can see, I am turning the lens and I am watching the live view along with you guys. And it focuses pretty close.
There we go.
Okay, now let's say that's just using the live view. Obviously the contrast is pretty good. That's a 2.8. Sorry, I was at f4 before. Okay, so that's wide open at 2.8. And using the front button, as I have programmed on my SL2, the upper front button, I'm going to tap that once. And what that's going to do is it's a focus assist magnification. And then I can zoom in further. So let's say that I want to focus, and Josh is touching the table.
Oh, I knew I was going to mess it up.
We talked about that,
Yeah,
Josh.
we did talk about this.
You can see just how, with that insane level of magnification, just how sensitive that is. It's very, very, very touchy.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be very careful here. Okay, just to really nail focus. And I'll tap the shutter once to come back. And we can see that's pretty nice, although slightly crooked, which, sorry, my OCD is kicking in.
There we go.
You notice we also set up a little bit of the little twinkle fairy lights behind there so we can see what the bokeh looks like. And you can see here, I'm pointing, but you can't see. We have little blue lights and green lights and yellow lights back there. So it's kind of neat. So I'm going to take a shot. Okay, and there's our image that plays back. It's going to snap back to live view just after a second because I think we have a 1 second setup.
Okay.
And I'm going to hit play, so just bear with the logo there. We're now in playback. The SL2, of course, if you haven't used it, is ridiculously fast. So we go to zoom in to 100%, and that happens in real time.
Why isn't that a Leica watch? I said that too. They're not in production yet, so
it's not in production.
believe me, if I could get my hands on one, I would be all about it.
Now, I want to point this out.
Yes.
Let's just hop to the full view of this. Okay, native view. There you go. So now, this is 100% 1-to-1 from the 60R, which is designed in 1972, and this is shot wide open at f2.8. So center sharpness is actually pretty good.
Yeah, considering that this is wide open on a lens that's
right now, you can see as we get away from the center edge, we're getting a little bit of I want to call that vintage magic.
Yes, sure.
So you can see it's getting a little bit hazy on there. So let's snap back
go
here.
to like 5.6.
Yeah. Okay. So what I'm going to do is now I'm going to take that lens.
I have to go like this so that I don't touch the table, because if I even breathe on this table, this whole thing shakes. So
all right.
I'm sorry.
So let's go back to our little working view so you can see what I'm doing here. All right.
There we go.
So I'm going to stop this down. And what's cool about an R lens, I do have this on aperture priority on the camera, which means that as I stop down, the camera's compensating the exposure, so what we're seeing is correct. So let's go to, you hear those really nice, loud
And you can see
stuff.
how, when you have 5 aperture blades, how hideous the bokeh balls.
Yeah, the bokeh is
look in the
not
background.
amazing.
This is
right
not a bokeh lens for sure.
But if we take a look at the magnified live view, and let's say now, I'm right at the hairy edge of the working distance here. So let's back off just a little bit. There we go. Now I think we're going to carry a little bit more.
A little bit, but actually the depth of the watch is not even being covered by
it's
the
not.
depth of field, and this is
Half-life size.
This is the real functional challenge of shooting macro, is how little depth of field you have. I know focus stacking is very common in doing this. That's another
so
topic altogether.
I went to f8.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Now, of course, those little lights are no longer pretty bokeh. They're just kind of hideous wire lights back there. But let's take a look now if we're carrying that
there
depth
you
of
go.
field.
That's much better.
So it looks nice on the edges.
Oh, you were where were you at before?
I was at 5.6,
that's why.
and now I'm at f8. So let's go ahead and take a shot. I think it's going to be, the only issue is this is a 1/4 second exposure. So what we're going to do is just put it on self-timer super quick.
Yeah, top left. There you go.
Yeah, because
Last one.
one more. There we go.
Nope, now you're on high speed.
There we go.
It's hard to do.
Okay, ready? And we're not going to breathe or touch the table. Okay.
Nice.
We'll zoom in on that and look at that.
Ooh.
Okay, now that is clearly a very, very nice result. Unfortunately, there's fair amount of dust.
David spent so much time cleaning his watch, but
It doesn't matter.
doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. But it looks pretty good,
Yeah.
except for the out of focus areas are not
Yeah.
what I would say are very exciting. So
Yeah.
there's going to be a trade-off here. If you're looking now, of course, look, let's say we get rid of the lights. I'll try this one more time. Get a little and if we pulled the wire out of there, right?
Right.
So let's say that we didn't have those elements there, or we could make sure those elements are further away. Because right now, I'm just going to put my finger in here. The lights are only that far back.
Yeah.
They're very close.
But this is like taking the traditional mindset of bokeh and the Leica sort of out of focus experience
Yeah.
and scaling it down. And you have to think much differently because if you're shooting a portrait, the background's got to be 500 feet away or whatever if you really want to get that bokeh.
I think it's 6 to 10 feet.
Whatever. We're talking about millimeters and inches here.
Yeah.
In terms of
Yeah, I'm going to borrow your ruler.
Thank you. In terms of how far the background has to be to get bokeh. But of course, it's always a balancing act between getting the depth of focus on your subject, depending on what your subject is, and also getting some bokeh. So,
Right.
but this is where the 60 macro is not going to do well. What did you make?
And this is the working distance.
Yeah.
So we've got 5 inches is from the front of the lens to the subject is 5 inches. And as I showed you, I backed it off just a hair so I could get the front bezel. So that's
So what we're going to be showing,
good.
I think, just to make sure you and I are on the same page, is we're always going to put the lens setup at the minimum distance, or like just about it. So when you see that live feed in the SL2, what you're seeing is as close
as you can get.
as that setup will go.
Yeah.
So if you watch this video and you skip around, and we'll timestamp the different close-up views, you can compare and see, okay, you know, with the 60, he got this close, with the 100. We spent too much time on the 60. Let's go to the next R lens,
Sure.
which I'm going to grab.
Oh, but I am
What?
going to show, because we can
Why
swap
you-
these out.
Why are you
because
messing with, why are
I
you
have-
messing with perfection?
Because I want to show, now that we don't have the lights, I want to show where the 60 does excel.
Okay.
It may fall flat on a high detail shot like that, but let's put in our potted plant. This is real, by the way, not a silk flower. Okay, now
Take
let's
my
go
hands off
back.
here.
Let's
Okay.
go back to live view.
What are people thinking of this live view setup here? Do we like it? I'm just checking the chat. I'm waiting for some feedback.
Yep, they like it.
Which one?
Did our chat freeze again on this computer, David? Why are you always doing this to me?
No, just scroll.
No. This was like,
Forever ago.
yeah.
All right, so to get critical focus. Oh, see, I got to go either push this back a little bit. Wow, that is crazy. That, by the way, replicated just a hair of a breeze, which
There you go. Well, yeah, good thing we're inside.
is my evil enemy when shooting flowers. So that looks
That looks good.
yeah, that looks pretty
Is that
good.
wide open?
That is wide open.
Yeah.
So, compositionally,
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's not going
Okay.
to win any awards.
Listen, I'm all about winning the awards. And we can, let's say, brighten up the exposure a little bit. I think that looks pretty good. Let's take a shot.
All right.
2-second self timer,
Yeah, I
hands
think
off.
we're going to keep it that way. There we go. Nice. Detail's not bad. It's not great. Wait till you start seeing some of the other setups. Actually, I like the flower because you get a little hair thingy.
You do, yeah. I thought you'd like that. And
yeah.
look at how pleasing that fall off is.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. So wide open. I think this is really nice. Let's do one shot just at a 5.6 to get an idea here.
There we go.
Okay, that's at 5.6. We're definitely carrying a fair amount more depth of field, and it sharpened up pretty considerably. But you know, we're oh yeah, look at that, Josh. That's pretty amazing right there. So this is a 40-year-old lens,
Yeah.
and it can do that.
Yeah, there's no doubt. That's pretty good.
Behold the power of Leica.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. So
But
this is my lens.
yeah.
I do like it.
Let's go to the next one though, because we're
Yeah,
spending
yeah,
too much
let's
time
do
on
it,
this
let's
one.
do
All
it.
right, so next
The 100, right?
we have we can get the slide for the 100 Apo. This is the Apo Macro Elmerit R 100mm f2.8.
I'll give you that back.
And what this lens is like the 60 kind of on steroids. It's sharper. It's got more blades, so it'll have a little bit nicer bokeh. The amount of turns that it takes to get this all the way extended is ludicrous. Watch, here we go. We're just gonna keep turning, turning, still turning. Oh, there we go. This is the full extension there. you can see it actually shows you the reproduction ratios right here. There we go.
Nice.
So this is, of course, a 1:2, but so that's pretty cool. That's why I love these dedicated macro lenses, like from the 80s and 90s, because you didn't have to do all the math. It just tells you the reproduction ratio right there. Where my
People are loving the setup, so
yeah,
yeah,
awesome, sweet. You guys are crazy talented. Thank you, Jim D. The most accurate statement I've seen today in the chat. Anyway, so this is the 100. It's got a nice built-in shade, which is cool.
It is cool.
This particular copy is a 3-cam, not a ROM. It's also filthy. Here we go.
Yeah, we don't want to
Advanced lens cleaning technique we got
taint
going
the
on.
test here. We gotta.
Okay, so yeah, I don't know how much I want to talk about this because I want to show it. So let's pop it on the camera. But you can see that it is larger than the 60. I do want to sort of mention that. Let me just put them next to each other. So it's a much beefier lens, but it's much more sophisticated optically, and it's going to give you a higher performance. So.
Yeah. So just to reiterate, so you can see on screen, obviously, it was introduced in the late 80s.
There we go.
Yep, there you go. The late 80s, and it is astonishingly good. It is an apo macro lens, and I believe I still remember reading about this lens in the mid 90s, back along with the introduction of the Leica R8, and I remember it. I think it was like Herbert Kepler in Popular Photography. You remember him? The hat.
A little bit.
We actually met him, but separate story.
Uh-huh.
He tested this in their popular photography photo labs or whatever it was, testing labs, and they said it was the sharpest, highest resolving lens they'd ever tested through their facility in all the years of that.
Just real quick, someone asked about the R adapter. This is the standard R adapter L, product code 16076. Nothing specifically macro about this. This just allows you to mount R lenses onto an L mount camera, whether it be an SL, SL2, a CL, a TL2, whatever. All right, let me pop the 100 Apo onto the R adapter L and hand it over to David, who's going to put it onto the SL2.
And there's a note, because it's not a ROM lens, what do I have to do?
You're going to have to select the profile manually
I
now.
know. Yep.
You poor thing.
I know.
So much extra work. First, you got to get it on the camera. There you go.
Yep. So now...
He's going to turn it on.
Yes, I'm going to turn it on.
Okay.
It's too bad, by the way,
now
having clean output is cool,
Yeah.
but it would be nice if we could actually output the menu, but there's no option to do that on the SL2.
You broke. There we go. Oh, you missed it. You're going to go back to lens profiles. Basically, it says unknown lens because it realizes that the lens itself has no ROM contacts. And now they're able to go into the camera
Eventually.
Camera settings. There you go.
Yep.
And then scroll down, lens profiles. He's gonna
Unknown
choose...
lens, R lens, and I'm going to put it, because it knows that it's an R lens because we put the R adapter on. So it immediately knows it's an unknown R lens.
Oh, Jim asked about the reproduction ratios. Basically, 1:1 means that the item in the picture is the same size as it is in real life. 1:2 means it's half as big. So the higher the reproduction ratio, meaning the closer it is to a whole fraction, 1/1, 1:1, the closer it will be to being life size in the frame itself. So the best macro lenses are 1:1.
Although Leica only has one.
Can you focus, please?
I'm showing you the bokeh.
It's like horrible. I don't want anyone to tune in and see this.
Hold on. We're gonna start with the watch, since we got to keep things even here.
OMG, you swapped seats. Yes, we did. Someone just tuned in.
They're a little late. Okay. So because it's a 100, I need to increase the working distance.
Are you at minimum?
I'm going to be.
Yeah, do that first. There we go.
And right about, okay. Yeah, that was a good guess, right?
Yeah, you're pretty close.
That is minimum distance right there. Now let's
frame it up nice.
Frame it up and get a little bit.
And while he's doing that, look at how much more circular and pleasing the out of focus light sources are. That's what you get when you have a nicer lens with more aperture blades.
Well, even at the far right of that frame,
yeah,
right, it doesn't turn into a football shape. It stays round, which is pretty cool. It is a little bit tipsy, so I'm gonna just hold this here.
Yeah, this would probably be better if you had the tripod foot on the R adapter, which we
sure.
don't have because we're apparently amateurs. But
rank amateurs.
But it still is gonna work for this demonstration.
You know, I am a little close still.
Yeah, you gotta
back it off just a little
we go.
bit. So a good suggestion is when you're working with macro is just to go slightly further away than minimum, which gives you some play to pull focus in. Kind of like that.
There we go. Nice.
And we're just going to go up here to our watch face. That is killing me, by the way, with the dust. Sorry.
You're not gonna get it all.
Not going to get it all, but I'm going to get most.
All right.
All right.
Now you messed it up.
I totally messed it up.
Here we go.
There we go. Okay, so that looks pretty good. And we're going to jump back.
Jim's outside. Jim, I should have, James Bernetti, I should have hit you up for a watch. Something nicer than this. No, I'm kidding. This DNT is very nice. Jim's watches are just in better shape than yours, but.
Yeah, sorry. Listen, this watch is like 10 years old.
You've seen how he handles lenses, so just imagine.
Right.
I do like this watch a lot, though. All right. Nice.
Okay.
Beautiful.
And hands off the table.
Yep. I got my arms crossed. They ain't going nowhere. I like this composition.
Oh, look at the self-timer light.
You can see it reflected.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
All right, so let's take a look. Now, this is wide open.
But you got some... No, you good at it, yeah. Definitely sharper
depth
than the
of field
60.
is nothing.
I mean, you have the hands in focus, and the Rolex logo or writing
gosh, is out of focus.
That is
Yeah.
wild.
Right.
Let's show the full view.
Sure.
There we go. Let's see the full frame on that.
I mean, I can't even carry... Yeah, there's no focus.
Yeah.
There's no depth of field. That's basically...
Yeah, most of the time, in fact, I would say almost all the time, although James Kong, correct me if I'm wrong, if you're on here, yes, you're not shooting macro photography at f2.8.
No,
I think
no,
that would
no,
be
no.
extremely unusual.
But you can see the detail. Look at that in the crown.
The detail is excellent, but
That is
you're really
insane.
not going to be shooting wide open because there's so little depth of field that it's almost impractical. But that said, if you've got a flat enough subject with enough of an interesting background, you can have some fun with it. So
We'll see what wide open looks like on the flowers, because that's
Yeah,
going to be
fair
really
point.
a nice case. And it is nice to show off that bokeh. So let's stop down a little bit. It's going to be a more...
Here we go.
Oh, there. You can definitely see the octagons there.
Yep. Nice. But this is going to be way sharper.
Yeah, this is a pretty critically sharp lens here. So we're going to zoom in a little further. Just trying to find a happy medium for the bezel and the face. It's not going to be perfect. I'd have to stop down even further.
Yeah, because even the slight angle of the watch,
Yeah,
it
of course.
falls out of focus as it goes from top
So
to bottom.
let's do that right there. Ready?
Yeah.
Here we go. Hands off the table. Okay, now let's zoom in.
Yeah, so F8 and stack. Yeah.
Wow, look at that. Now we're really
Nice.
seeing some insane detail there.
And remember, this is on like a little rinky-dink tripod that's fine for an M, but for an SL2 with a heavy R lens on it.
You can see the second hand moving there.
Yeah, that's funny. How long is that exposure?
I can't
That
tell
doesn't
you
matter.
because it's...
Probably at least a quarter second. Look at that. So detail is excellent. Definitely a higher level of detail than
Yeah, look at that.
the 60.
Look at the polishing, the reflections, and the subtle reflections.
And I'll
here.
say also the gearing of the focus on the 100 is a lot better for this as well.
It is.
So.
It is. This is a phenomenal lens. So let me swap it out for the...
Yeah, let's see the flower shot.
I'm gonna move that. Oh, that's a lot easier.
There you go. Don't drop that. Don't drop it. I will dive across this table to grab that watch if you knock it over. No idea.
It's been through worse.
I don't want to know.
All right, here we go. So
right.
I turned off our little Christmas lights. I do apologize. Let me move it forward a little bit here. So, one of the drawbacks / advantages, depending on which side you're on, is with a longer lens, like the difference between a 60 and a 100 is working distance.
Yes.
I have to be a fair amount farther away. See, I can't. That's actually not even focus.
You should move the plant back.
I'm trying to get further away from the background.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So
The first time we've done this, but we're going pretty smoothly so far. So
this is
There you go.
Oh, and now my HDMI cable's yanking.
You're doing fantastic.
I'm doing
You should
amazing.
move the plant back.
There we go.
Okay.
Okay, so that, and keep in mind, the tripod sag, when I just tighten that, is like,
Oh, jeez. That's fine, though.
all right, so let's zoom in on I'm going to open up, so that's wide open, and you can see the very different appearance
Yeah.
between shooting at f8 and shooting at 2.8.
Yeah, look at the way that bokeh falls off. That's really nice.
Yeah, so let's get in here.
And I can already see a higher level
Wow.
of detail with the 100 than I can with the 60.
Wow,
pretty
look
significant,
at that.
That's wild. That's wide open, right?
This is wide open.
Yeah, that is stellar wide open performance for a lens from the 80s.
Yep.
It's actually the same age as me, probably, almost.
Are you from the 80s?
I am indeed.
Were you designed in Germany?
I was... Well, my last name is a German word, so it maybe. Look at that.
All right.
So here, again, it's not just about focal length. It's not just about aperture. It's
a look.
It is a look. It is lens design. This.
There we go. So we're gonna focus. See, you have to choose. Do you want to focus on that?
Yeah.
Or do you want to focus on that? Because neither is right. It's just what you like as a photographer. And the lens sag is killing me. I'm framing this up. I'm just gonna support it here. Right, here we go. Okay.
There we go. I like how I'm not talking during the exposure. Like somehow,
I know,
like somehow that's like me,
hold your breath.
Me
Hold your breath.
breathing is gonna make a difference.
Look at that though.
Yeah.
So I gotta say, whoops, did I just lose it here? Nope.
Nope. You're not getting back.
Sorry. We switched camera views and it was like, no, I don't want to do that. All right, here we go. I mean, it's...
Yeah, that detail is nice. And also keep in mind,
look at how buttery that is.
47 megapixels of modern mega sensor performance. So
for a film lens.
Yeah.
This is gorgeous though. Like that transition right there.
Yeah.
That is just stunning. How it just falls off and it's just so creamy.
Yeah, that is really nice.
Yeah.
All right, so that
nice.
is the 100.
I'll do one more at
f8. Okay.
Yep.
Okay,
Let's stop this down again. So here, this is going to be at f8. Here we go. And I'm just going to take my hands off. Okay. We're going to zoom in on that. Let's pull up to the full. Oh wow.
Yeah, and again, all these shots are probably going to have a little bit of motion blur, but even so, like that is just
wobbly table, wobbly tripod, but that is absolutely.
I mean, the 100 macros are not that hard to find either, but they definitely are more expensive. I think depending on the condition and the vintage.
Look at that.
2,000 plus for ROM, sub 2,000 for recam. I mean,
and it's still, look at the transition here from the front of that flower through the stem, and see, even at f8, it's really smooth.
Yeah.
Super nice.
All right.
Okay.
That's the 100.
Yes, it is.
Any questions about the two lenses? We show the 2R lenses before we go on to the next, because that's all we have for R. Sorry, everyone who wants us to do an R episode. That's what you get. That was
your R episode.
30 minutes of R lenses. That's the most you're ever gonna. That was too much time on R lenses.
Pretty nice though, right?
All right, let's keep going. So why don't we talk about? We'll do M lenses last because that's what we have the most of, I think. We have one S lens. So
the S lens.
It's fitting actually, given that the 120 macro S is a later iteration, effectively, of the 100 Apo R.
That is a little known but true fact.
Let's bring up the Shabadoo. Doobity.
Shabadoo,
doobity. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so here is the 120 Apo macro Sumerit S. Pro format, designed for S cameras. Now that would be the S3. Fantastic lens. This happens to be the CS version with the central shutter, but it will work the same way on an SL2. Again, much like the 100 Apo R lens, it is a 1:2 reproduction ratio. The difference here, of course, is this lens is autofocus and this lens is weather sealed. So that's can be an advantage depending on the environments you're shooting in. So if I pair this with the, there we go, the S adapter L. Now, an important thing to note when you're working with this adapter is you always want to make sure the camera is turned off when you swap lenses on this. I'm really only saying this so David doesn't forget.
It is off. It is off.
Okay. I'm going to pair these together. Now, we've actually thought ahead and we've put a tripod plate on the tripod foot of the adapter because this is a pretty hefty lens relative to the camera. So I'm going to give David, this is the S.
We'll show the focus turns on this one.
Oh, right. Yeah, of course. This is a lens that does expand. Here we go. As you turn. It's got a really nice throw. Look at that.
Yep.
We do have a question there in the chat, Josh, if you want to.
Yes.
On the 100 macro.
Is there an ELPRO for the 100? There is. They're extremely rare, and I didn't. I couldn't find one for the show. But again, they're so rare. Like, if I get one every 2 years on a trade, that's a lot. Which is why I didn't try to get one, because I don't want to get someone excited about a component that's impossible to find or challenging to find. So, sorry. Yeah. Again, we're trying to be practical here. So, okay, 120 S lens on the S adapter L. Let's see.
Well, we got some important questions.
Yes.
Jump back to us here so I can interrogate. Now, Josh, this is a medium format lens, is it not?
Yes, it is.
So when I put that 120 millimeter lens on my SL2, which is only 35 millimeter full frame, there's going to be a crop factor, right?
There's not, actually. Leica lenses are all designed around the 35 millimeter standard, Meaning, a 120S lens on an S is about a 96 millimeter focal length equivalent. A 120S lens on an SL2 is a 120 millimeter lens. So this will be a little bit longer
Then the 100.
In fact, you should move some stuff out of the way because I already know you're gonna have to be
Oh
farther.
yeah, for sure.
I'm preempting some inevitable disaster here. You're all welcome. So this is a 120 f2.5 lens on the SL2. Okay, sweet. You ready, David?
Well, we're going to undo this right here. The camera is
Gotta
off.
do a little bit of finagling.
We're gonna...
Also, they're asking if image stabilization was turned off on the SO2.
I can check. I believe it is on because this tripod is not super stable for what we're doing right now. And actually, oopsie.
What have you done?
No,
Breaking everything. Oh, does it not attach to the camera when it's still on?
no, I have to just turn this.
Story of my life.
Yep, it's okay.
We're trying.
Well, actually, no, that's not going to clear. So I do need to just steal another quick release plate, super duper quick,
Wait, where do you have one?
on the cube.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say.
This is a tiny one.
How are you gonna get this off?
No, just use my finger. Oh, ring.
Nope.
Okay.
I'll let you do that.
Yep. Okay.
Struggle and start. In the
Doing great.
meantime, I need like
Doing
a
great.
point or something. So, S lenses on the SL2 we've talked about before. The real advantages here, as I mentioned a bit ago, autofocus and weather sealing. Because the SL2 is, of course, a weather sealed camera. The S adapter L is also weather sealed, so it maintains the weather sealing when you attach S lenses, which is pretty cool. How we doing over there?
We're doing great.
Okay, just checking in. We're gonna do this.
Yep.
Look at this ruler, by the way.
That's my old ruler.
It's like a Leica ruler, and then it has the different frame lines
Yeah.
of like all the different the different focal lengths you can have on an M camera. Look at that. It's super old, as you can see. I found this in my desk years ago, and I made it mine. I think it was David's.
It was mine. That was given to me, I believe, by Brian Bell. Of
Wow,
Leica Camera.
throwback.
Yes.
Nice. $1 million takes it home.
Listen, that's not for sale. Although
Everything is for sale.
that used to be clear.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
That is what we call non-Farkas.
It's patina now. It's patina.
It's patina. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like a fine.
Mhm.
Yes.
Something. There we go.
Fine wine.
It's like a tropical dial.
Yes, the tropical ruler dial.
That's right.
All right. I suspect just as desirable. All right. What do we got? So we got the 120S.
And I've got it mounted. The reason for the delay there is I just had to mount this to the adapter, not to the camera, so we kind of don't wobble.
And normally the adapter has a foot, a tripod
Yes.
foot, which we didn't
Which
bring.
would clear with the
it would,
standard
yeah,
blade.
so don't do what we're doing because that's just a pain in the butt.
Okay. Whoop, whoop. There we go.
Nice.
Focusing.
Okay.
Here we go. And I'm a little out of frame, but it's okay. So this is autofocus.
Well, we should just.
We should
rack it to minimum.
Here we go.
Yeah, autofocus with macro it can be a little slow. So especially when the lens is at infinity already. Let's try to get.
Oh, there we go.
You got to be farther. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Further or closer? Let's see. Oh yeah.
Oh, closer. Okay.
A little bit closer.
So crooked.
Very crooked. Listen.
Oh my goodness!
Don't try this.
You're gonna make me seasick doing this.
Sorry. Don't try this at home, guys.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! And perfect. Crisp.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Crispy.
That is
crispy.
Krispy Kreme right there.
This
Let's
is the
back it up.
Leica sharpness right there.
Yeah, this is something. All right. Sorry. So this is where working distance is not working in our favor at the moment because obviously if you're working in the field, this would be a whole lot easier. There we go. And if you're wondering why it's magnifying, it's because focus magnification is turned on since we are in manual.
And this tripod
focus.
is not designed for this
This
kind of weight
tripod is
at all.
No. That's why I'm like trying to
This is
offset
not
it
a
here.
problem with the tripod. We're just using it beyond its intended specification. So don't hate on the 2-way tripod.
And I'm going to use the autofocus to dial it in right there. Okay. So we are currently...
Look at how nice the autofocus. I mean, that's like
my gosh.
perfectly circular.
That is 2.8.
This is why this lens is so expensive because it's so sharp. Can we zoom in on the zoomy zooms? Zoomington. There we go. Look at that.
That's okay. It's okay. Yeah, no, it's really good.
That is, I mean, I don't know if you remember what the 100 looked like, but
This
this
looks better.
looks, and this is wide open, right?
This is wide
This
open.
is at F5, yeah.
This
Wow.
is wide open, and the out of focus area is amazing.
So pretty.
So let's take a shot. I'm gonna really try not to breathe. There we go.
There we go.
And remember the detail level that we saw.
Wow, look at that.
This is more like what we saw at f8.
Yeah, even better than that. And remember, we're not talking about depth of field right now. We're just talking
you
about
can see there's no
sharpness.
depth of field.
When we look at the detail in the hands, oh my goodness, wide open on a wobbly tripod. I mean, this is really, really impressive. Wyatt asks, are we live? I don't know. I feel dead inside sometimes. Yes, we're live.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us. If you don't believe me, I don't know.
Okay.
I have nothing to say. That is incredible. Yes, I agree.
All right, let's stop it down a little bit.
Oh, I just can't get over. But can you move the camera? I just want to show them the top left corner lighting situation a little bit. Oh, there we go. Look at that. We're just looking at bokeh here, but just how pretty
So nice.
that out of focus rendering is.
So nice.
That is what you're paying for.
Well, especially look at where the colors, where the lights overlap.
Yeah.
And they're perfect, still perfectly round. No hard edges. That's
so nice.
It's hard to believe. This lens it's 11 years old now.
Yeah, and that's when it was introduced. The design is even older than that. That's really, this is really something cool. All right. But try to put the watch more in the center so we can get more bokeh. Yeah, there we go. Nice. Oh, that is beautiful.
Okay, so let's focus on that.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
the autofocus is okay. I would probably use...
let me focus on the writing here. There we go.
Right, did you get it?
Now the bezel's not in focus. I'm just gonna take a shot again.
Okay. Nice.
Oh yeah, you heard the central shutter fire? It was interesting. Wow. That
Look at that detail.
Okay, now we're at 4.5. So I stopped down a little bit
Yeah, that's impressive.
to carry some depth of field. You can see the second hand moving there.
Yeah, and again, this is a slow enough shutter speed that the second hand is blurring, so this tells you just how much motion blur we're going to get.
Wow, look.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Let's go to f8. I want to see what this thing can do.
Well, let's see what the out of focus area looks like
Oh,
when it's
look at
stopped
that.
down.
Still pretty nice. I mean,
much nicer.
this is better at 4.5 than the 60 was wide open at 2.8.
Yeah.
Because you have so many more aperture blades and it's a much more modern lens. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty.
Yeah, it looks great. Okay, so you wanna go to f8 and see what we look?
Yeah. Let's see what we got.
Okay, so we're going to f8. I'm gonna focus this time on the bezel. So maybe we can carry depth of field back.
Here we go.
It's gonna be a really slow speed. Okay.
Nice.
I bet that second hand's gonna be super blurred.
Look at that detail though. Very nice.
So
And again, this tripod is not spec'd for this lens. Once we get to M lenses that are way lighter, it's going to be so much easier.
look at that. So that is not bad right there. That is not bad.
Yeah, that's impressive. Just seeing the dust, like I know it drives you crazy, but the fact that you can see so much detail on that dust.
Or look at that edge. Look at the machining marks and the polishing and the
That's so
reflections in
nice.
the polishing.
Yeah, this is again,
That is insane.
the progress of lens design. It's not nothing. Sweet. All right, but the downside is, as you see, the mounting logistical weight requirements are going to be a lot different because this lens is considerably larger. You can even see just the setup David has. But if you need that autofocus, you need that weather sealing.
Working distance is about like that.
This is the way to go. This is a good option. All right, so that's that. Let's go to. I'm gonna maybe go to TL lenses because I have two of them to show.
Yeah, let's do that.
And also because we're almost kind of at the peak of the show, we'll talk about what I think is the best option. So
let's do it. I'm gonna move this
as an
away.
L-mount camera, you can mount TL lenses onto the SL2. It crops down to APS-C mode, 20 megapixels.
automatically.
Automatically.
Yeah.
We've talked about this a million times. I'm not going to get too much into it now, but the SL2 being a 47 megapixel camera makes, in my mind, TL lenses far more usable than they were on the SL601, which cropped down to 10 megapixels. Same thing with the SL2S. So specifically the SL2 to me is a very viable platform.
I agree.
For TL lenses. Of course, I guess we can't really talk about this one without talking about the so we'll skip that. So let's just get to it. Let's get to the 60.
Let's do it.
Because it's then we'll do all the M lenses. Okay.
I feel like we're letting everyone in on the secret here.
This is the 60 macro, the Apple macro element TL 60mm f2.8. This, in my mind, is the best option for macro Leica currently makes that's both simple, light, easy to get, and easy to use.
And
I'm not saying it's the best all around, hands down, that's it. But
I would also argue just stupidly good image quality.
incredible performance. It's very light. I mean, it's hard to, you can't see that it's light, but it's very light. It's really, let me get the closer from here. It's actually considerably lighter than the 60R, even though it's a little bit bigger and it has a 60 millimeter filter thread instead of a 55. So the most important thing to know about this lens, it is the first and only true one-to-one macro lens Leica has ever made. No ELPROs, no adapters needed. This lens is natively one-to-one. And I use this lens, this exact lens, in fact, on the SL2 almost every single day for product and other sort of in-store types of photography that I have to do. And I'm consistently blown away by the performance. So now let's take a look at the 60 macro TL on the SL2. It's going to automatically crop down to a 90 millimeter at 20 megapixels. It's going to be autofocus. It's going to be electronic aperture.
I realized we missed something.
What did we miss?
We have to give the people equal representation.
Okay.
I didn't photograph the flower with the 120.
Oh my goodness.
We got to do that first, and then we're gonna throw that on there.
Make it quick.
Yeah, for sure.
You're killing me right now.
I'm sorry, guys. I was like,
No, the Daniel Craig Q2 is not a Q2 monochrome, and no, we don't have a Daniel Craig Q2 yet.
and we don't have Daniel Craig here either.
Yeah, he's in the wings waiting somewhere.
He's coming on the next episode, I think.
All right, so we're gonna quickly show the 100. I hyped up the 60, and now you're showing the 100.
Sorry.
Okay, you're killing me, bro.
Okay,
Here we go.
we got to go back.
I promise we're gonna get to the 60 really soon.
Sorry, guys. Here we go.
Going great.
Move it back. All right, let's pop up a live view for me so I can actually see there. Here we go. And we're going to go to wide open and a little auto. Okay, that's pretty good.
We gotta like remember the tripod's gonna.
I know, yeah. Oh, that's
You gotta do it higher so that it sags lower.
Right. This is like,
Yeah,
it's
right
like,
there. Do it there.
There? Okay.
Mhm.
You
No,
know,
it barely sag. Oh, because it's right. Because it's the way you
Right.
pointed up. We are doing fantastic.
okay.
I hope nobody tunes in right now.
They're like,
and is
what did they-
What is this like? What channel am I watching?
Okay,
Okay, can we take a picture, please?
here we go. Let me,
For the love of Leica.
for the love of Leica. Oh, I got to go back just a hair.
There we go.
Wow. Yep. It had to happen.
This is fine. This works. Oh, look at the detail there. Oh, can't touch the table. Okay.
Can't touch, like, can't breathe right
All
now.
Let's do it. Get a shot in there.
Here we go.
Look at that. I mean, again, not only are you getting lovely bokeh, but the detail. Insane. Look at that.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad.
I'll say.
All right, so that's the experience wide open at 2.5 from minimum focus distance. Okay, now we're gonna go to 5, 6, or 8. What do you think?
Let's go to 8. That's what we've been doing.
Wow. Okay, so we're gonna go all the way to
Maybe a
8,
lot.
and here we go. Without moving the focus point,
We got to speed it up. We're like halfway through the show. We barely covered half the stuff.
here we go. Oh my word! Look at that.
Oh my goodness. That is so crispy. What's the word that anyone wanted to say? Kludgy?
Well, kludgy is like when things work very.
You guys
poorly
can see that
together.
we're getting text messages from all the people that we work with.
But look, remember what we said. That fall off is still very, very natural.
Yeah, you're not getting like this boring looking image because you're shooting at f8. You're getting, oh my goodness, look at that.
Still great fall off.
So nice. All right, can we please
Yes.
show the 60 TL? Because I've been
Yes.
hyping it up and I've been so excited to show this. Josh's favorite macro solution for the SL system. Of course, it doesn't work on M. But for SL, if you have an SL2 and you like shooting close up and you don't have one of these lenses, you're missing out. There, I said it. I'm not usually that definitive about something, but as someone who uses this lens on an SL2 almost every day, I couldn't imagine life without it. In fact, I just bought another one from Leica because
I know.
because we have these ones bouncing
Okay,
around
here
so
you go.
much.
I'm gonna hand you that, and I'm gonna need you to.
Okay, I got that covered. I'm gonna give you this. I'm gonna take.
Oh wow, you guys have
It's so
no
light.
idea. It's like
How did you get this off with your fingers?
I know. I use my key.
Aha. I'm gonna use the faded ruler.
No, please don't. It's acrylic.
It's fine. No, it's fine. Use some keys.
All right, here we go.
You can't bring the keys out to get the dog break. So
That's true. He'll be like, what? we're going somewhere else.
All right, now we are gonna try the 60 Apo Macro Element TL f2.8 on the SL2, and we're gonna see what this thing can do. Here I am trying to put an R back cap on a SL.
Yeah, this is gonna be
Here we go.
this is gonna be nice. Just
excited.
spoiler alert here. It's gonna be pretty nice.
Okay, put where my mouth is. Let's see it.
Let's see it.
Well, it's not in focus yet.
It's all bokeh all the time. Now, something else. Did you notice how much faster that focused? I just hit the rear button, and also that wasn't an issue of noise reduction. It didn't make any noise.
Yeah.
Like, it just silently snapped into focus.
Can you make the composition a little bit nicer? Now, I like the lens a lot, but you can see if you are a bokeh ball enthusiast, you may not like the footballs, meaning like football-shaped lights. You may actually prefer the round lights from the 120. So that's something fascinating that you could see these side by side. Let's look at the detail, though. Are we wide open? Yeah, of course we are. Yeah, we have to be.
No, we're at f8, actually.
No, but it's not going to show you f8.
Right. So I'm going to shoot this at... Now, it's interesting. That's another limitation. Because the lens is so long, it essentially is an internal extension tube. So I'm not, because I'm at... I don't even know if I'm at... I'm actually not at closest distance. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go to minimum. You're going to have to use the top screen.
Josh, quick comment there on the chat. Just repeat again what happens when you mount the 60 on the SO2.
Sure. When you mount, you can go to the wide view while David tinkers. When you mount the 60 TL lens on the SL2, it automatically activates the camera's APS-C mode, which is a 50% crop. It goes from 47 megapixels to 20 megapixels. Still autofocus, still electronically controlled, just lower resolution.
Oh, you're bouncing on the table.
Sorry. Is that as close as you can get? Really close.
What's the minimum distance?
On the top screen, it's 0.18 meters. So you have to just kind of rack the focus ring.
Yeah.
You there?
Yeah, it's minimum.
Okay, nice.
What if it's on a CL or a TL?
Well, there's no cropping going on because it's native to those cameras because those cameras are APS-C sensors, but it's still, of course, the equivalent of a 90 because Leica always designs their lenses in the 35 millimeter standard. So this is a 60 millimeter lens optically, but it's not a full frame lens. So you put on a CL, it's a 90, put on an SL2, it's a 90. It's just a matter of resolution. So the CL, of course, is 24 megs. Cropped on the SL2, it is 20.
This has so little depth of field. Okay.
Yeah, this is pretty wild. Wait till you see how close we can
Let's snap it to our view here.
Look how close. Now remember,
that's a big difference. With
how far back you saw the whole watch and
you
more.
Can't
you saw the bezel and you saw the case.
Well, also you can't. The camera's not here in front of me anymore because I don't know if you can see this, but let me borrow the ruler real quick. Here we go. So we are at less than 4 inches working distance from the front of the lens. It's very, very, very close.
Yeah.
And yeah, because we've got that 1-to-1, we are right up in there. This is not a magnified view. This is our full
Again,
image.
there's no extra components involved. There's no ELPRO or macro adapter. This is the native close focus distance on the 60 TL, and it still goes to infinity. I mean, it's
great lens.
Can we zoom in and see? The detail.
So this is going to be our live view zoom in. That's crazy. You'll notice the depth of field is covering nothing.
The indices barely.
Barely, yeah. Here, let me. I'm going to snap back, and we'll just pull focus right in the middle there.
There we go.
And something else to note, because it has that extension, you can't shoot this lens at minimum distance at f2.8 because we're losing some light because of that extension.
Correct.
As the focusing element goes to the front of the lens, it's a maximum of f3.4, which is what we're shooting this at.
Correct.
It's the same. What's crazy is it is an f2.8 opening. Yeah. But it's an effective 3.4.
Right. The exposure, because you're getting some what they call bellows factor, basically light loss, which is
okay. Here we go.
I can't get into it now.
We're gonna shoot this.
Nice. Look how close we're getting. I mean, that is wild. What's in just
nothing.
Okay.
Look at the edge of the hand, though.
I just need to stop for a second here, David. The detail, you can see the micro marks that are on that
hand.
A hand.
Yeah.
That is amazing. The detail there.
You'd never see this with your naked eye.
Is mind-boggling on a lens that's designed for APS cameras. Oh my goodness, look at that. That is, and this is wide open.
Yeah.
This is where the lens is supposed to be at its quote unquote least sharp.
Now the other thing to notice, let's see if I can find some metal in here, that it is an apochromatic lens.
Right, so no chromatic aberration.
There's no chromatic aberration, even wide open.
Look at that. Oh.
Yeah. You're seeing, so that rehaut engraving is like a millimeter tall.
Yeah.
And it can't even carry depth of field from top to bottom wide open.
Let's put this to like 5.6. I want to see what it does at 5.6.
Sure. Let's stop it down a little bit.
Maybe 6.3 because of.
All right, yeah, I'm at 6.3, which
6.3.
is basically 5.6.
Yeah, let's do that.
And where should we focus? Should we focus?
I would focus
on the maybe on the bezel. Oh wow, no, not on the bezel.
No, focus right on the
right on the hand again.
Yeah, on the hand.
Okay, we're going on the hour hand. Here we go.
Here we go. And fire. Let's take a look at that detail. I can already tell. Wow, that is insane. I use that word too much, but with detail. And remember, this is, I'm doing air quotes, only 20 megapixels.
They can't see
air quotes. I can't, no, I mean, it's only 20 megapixels, but the fact that you're able to get so close.
Wow.
Oh my goodness, that's remarkable. Really.
Those are reflections of the light in the indices.
It's white gold applied indices.
Seriously.
That is remarkable.
All right.
So this is why this lens is my favorite, because you've got.
Look at that edge detail there.
You've got autofocus that's silent and very fast.
We're gonna do this. I want to get a nice metal shot here.
Let me just list off what you're doing.
Go.
Let me get my elbows off. You've got fast, silent autofocus. You've got incredible performance. It's light. It's easy to find. It's not some super rare, obscure knick-knack.
No.
All right, what do we got going on now?
Okay, let's come back to the live view. Check this out. So I just did a simple rotation, a little cooler composition, right? And I'm gonna do touch autofocus right there on that crown. So let's do it once, wide open.
I'm excited. I just can't get enough of this lens. Oh,
okay,
goodness.
that's wide open. Let's zoom in, check that out.
Okay, this is wide open.
That's let me stop. I gotta just adjust my exposure just a hair. Here we go.
You can see the machining marks on the crown. In the stainless. There we go. Wow. That is remarkable.
It was a little overexposed before because it was all the black behind it. But look at that. That makes me feel very bad.
You shouldn't. It's part of the watcher's count. You should see mine. It's even worse.
Oh my word.
Wear it every day.
Now and what Josh said, that's only 20 megapixels. I mean, that is not wanting for resolution.
No, you can print this 20 by 30 all day long.
Yeah. Now let's stop it down.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Here, we're gonna go to f8 now on the same shot. Hands off the table.
And we can't forget to do the flowers. We're going really slow. We're not going to do a part 2 of this. We have to get through this. Wow. Look at that.
I mean, really, it's not sharper. It's just more depth of field.
Yeah.
That's
something else.
Wow. Look at the dusting.
So cool. Let's pop into the flowers. I don't want to linger too much on. Like we gotta keep going.
Just like we were showing before. Yeah. Look, it still has nice fall off character.
Yes. Although I do think the bokeh is nicer on the 120S.
Yeah.
I'll happily give the 120S that. This is not a lens I use for bokeh.
Wow.
This is a lens I use for more like product shots or like
this.
practical kind of stuff. Yeah. Let's take a look at the flowers.
We're gonna swap out, get our little flowers.
There we go.
Do. Unplug my lights. Okay, here we go.
Make some magic happen.
Oh yeah. Making the magic.
Plus the fact that this is so light means that this tripod is not at all strained.
The tripod is
by the weight.
Well within its range. And there we go. Ish. Let me I'm trying to find a somewhat of a composition in here.
You're since just so close, and it's like hard to even frame anything.
Let's just try that.
I like that.
Yeah, but notice when I actually lock the tripod down.
Yeah, it doesn't start creeping. Yeah.
So we're gonna touch here to focus, and it just locks right in.
Nice. You're still wide open? No, you're at f8.
Yeah. Let me go back to wide open.
There we go. There you go.
Okay, we are now at wide open, and we're gonna take a shot. Maybe I'll pull up the exposure. That's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, we're moving, but it's okay. Let's see how we did.
Detail's still pretty impressive. Yeah, look at that. A little bit of motion blur, not much.
Let me take one more here.
Yeah.
Because I could actually see the camera moving.
Nobody breathe.
There we go.
There we go.
Nobody breathe. What is this like? Like a horror movie?
I'm even holding my breath.
Yeah, I got Jose. Jose's got like lifted his feet off the ground. Oh man.
Look at that. And it has some really nice out of focus fall.
It is nice. I do think the 120 has the edge there, but
yeah.
this is still very impressive. And this is sharper.
Yeah, let me me scroll up, like pan up a little bit, because I want to get more of this out of focus areas just to see how that fall off really is. Okay, so we'll do that. We're going to focus here. All right, hands off the table.
Here we go.
Take another shot. It's amazing. The rules of composition just change also.
Yeah, it's a different mindset.
So our focus point is all the way in the front.
There we go. Look at that.
Somewhere.
It's wide open, right? Yeah.
Where did I focus?
I don't know. You're the one taking the picture, bro. I
To the
don't know.
left, I think.
I think I focused right here. Yeah,
What's
it's
going
fine.
on, yeah.
All right. But we take a look at that fall off, and it's pretty nice. So let's stop down and see what that same image is going to look like at f8. Here we go. Ready? No motion. And
Here we go. Now we're talking. So much detail.
yeah, a lot of detail.
Pretty nice focus still for F8.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when you're this close, and let me just double check. I may not have focused very well. So I'm using Touch AF right now. Let me do that one more time. There we go.
All right.
I want to
We gotta
give it its due.
We gotta keep going. We gotta keep going.
There we go. How's that?
That's oh my goodness, wild.
All right.
So let's go back to the wide shot. So now I want to spend. Now we've covered kind of all the R lens solution, the autofocus solutions.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're going to talk a little bit more about M lenses and also some adapting accessories, if you will. So
Bob's, doodads.
I'm going to talk about them first because then I'll talk about how they apply to the lenses we're going to show. So Leica currently makes two different macro solutions that connect in different ways to their lenses. The first one is the macro adapter M, right here. Sorry, I'm in English. Okay, let me just show this. If we can get the close up. So the macro adapter M is an extension tube. It's an adjustable extension tube. So that turning this sort of focusing ring, if you will, gives you between 18 and 30 millimeters of macro extension, allowing you to control your reproduction ratio depending on what you're shooting. So this gives you a lot of flexibility. Now, there's an M mount. It is 6-bit coded. So when you mount this on an M or an SL2, it does recognize that the macro adapter M is attached. And of course, this does work on the SL2 as well. You just would combine it with the macro, or to the M adapter L. They pair up very nicely.
On the SL2, you mean?
Yeah, on the SL, SL2, or the CL. So this would, you can use your M lenses in macro configuration on an L mount camera as well. So the advantage of the macro adapter M is that it works on any M lens in terms of it fits. Now, it's not really going to work on a lens wider than 50, maybe 35. It's really not what it's intended for.
And why is that, Josh?
Because you, at that point, you're focusing inside the lens.
So we talk about working distance.
Yeah.
I think let's explain in practical terms what that means. So
Yes.
let's say that we actually don't have, let's pretend.
I didn't even bring anything wider than 50 because I knew it wouldn't be practical.
Imagine a place where this is a 28 millimeter lens.
Yeah.
This is a 28 millimeter lens.
Okay.
And if this was on that adapter and I had this on the camera and I was at infinity focus, and let's say I've got my flower here, the lens would have to be like here. It wouldn't be able to focus.
Yeah.
So there's no zero, or I should say negative working distance. On a 35, your working distance is probably going to be mere millimeters. A 50, at least you'll be about this far away. So you can't really use, unless you just want to photograph bokeh on a wide lens, you can't use them.
I do want to talk about the two versions of the macro adapter M. I've seen a few questions about this. There are two versions of the Leica Macro Elmar M90 f4. I'm going to show them. I've talked about them on our telephoto M lens episode. I'll talk about them again. The first version came with the first version of the macro adapter M. If we can get a close-up on this, I will show you. Here we go. Now you'll notice this looks quite a bit different than the current iteration of the macro adapter M. For one, it has these goggles on it, this like little twin lens thingy. And it also, if you look very closely, hold on, has a rangefinder cam inside. Now, the macro adapter M, the current one, the version 2, if you will, is not rangefinder coupled, meaning you have to use live view either via the VisiFlex, EVF2, or the screen in order to compose and focus. However, the first version of the macro adapter M came out before M cameras had live view. So it was rangefinder coupled between the goggles magnified the rangefinder, allowing you to actually focus at the closer distances.
It's like corrective lenses.
So that is the reason that you would use the first version of the macro adapter, is if you had a camera that did not have live view. If you have a camera that has live view, there's no real reason to use this, because this will only get you 1:3, a 1:3 reproduction ratio, whereas this gets you not only a 1:2, which is closer, it also is adjustable, where this is not. Now, you'll also notice that there's like this baffling here, this sort of rectangular baffling inside the first version of the macro adapter. And that means that most lenses won't even physically mount on here because this gets in the way. So this is really only designed to be used with the 90 macro. It does work with either version. So this is the first version. It was primarily sold in a kit with the first version of the 90 macro. And it is rangefinder coupled and therefore allows you to do a nominal amount of close-up, up to 1:3 on an M camera that has no live view, whether that's a film M, an M262, or an M9. So hopefully that clears things up for people.
But that one has a Leica red dot.
It does, yeah. That's cool. It's cool. But again, this is nowhere near as good on a live view camera as the current version, because this is adjustable and this gets you closer. And because there's no baffling in here, it's just a clear tube, this mounts on any M lens. I'm not saying it's going to work on every M lens in the sense that you may not be able to actually get anything in focus, but it will mount on any M lens.
And there's another little trick that it has that the macro adapter, the original macro adapter with the goggles, didn't have. Because if you mounted your 90mm on there, and you have an original and a second version, you would have to remove this and remount the lens in order to get infinity focus, right?
Right, because you're extending the lens beyond the lens mount. You're thus only being able to focus close. You've lost even like 5 feet.
Yeah.
Really, you can only focus macro.
It's a very, very close limited working range. But what about on the new one? How did they change that?
So what they've done is on the new macro adapter, or what the current macro adapter, the 90 macro as a lens that is collapsible, what they've effectively done is the amount of collapsing of the lens here is the same as the same distance that the macro adapter M covers.
The depth, right?
The depth.
Yeah.
So normally with a macro adapter, you lose infinity. But because the 90 macro, this is actually the version 2.
There you go.
Because the 90 macro is collapsible, if you collapse the 90 macro with the macro adapter attached, you regain infinity focus. What that means is when you have the current version of the macro adapter M attached to an M camera, or an SL, or any camera for that matter, and you have the 90 macro M, without having to remove the adapter or the lens, simply by adjusting the expansion of the adapter and collapsing the lens, you have access to the full range of focus from the minimum 1:2 reproduction all the way to infinity and everything in between. This is the only way with a Leica M lens to have totally super crazy macro all the way to infinity without having to remove or add any components.
Now, I would say, just to be fair, and we covered these already, but we didn't really talk about how it applied to M. If you have an R adapter M, right, and you've got one of these 60 or 100 macro lenses, those are also full range lenses.
Yeah.
So you're going to get infinity and you're going to get close focus. And if you use them on a live view M camera, you are getting a similar experience, but show the difference in size between, say, the 100 and the 90.
Yeah, if you look at the 100 versus the 90, I mean,
they're close in size, right?
I mean, you could literally fit this lens inside of the 100. There's no comparison. And this also, the 90 macro is a higher performing lens, believe it or not. So I hope that explanation clears up to some degree the difference between the two macro adapter M's, because they are both called the macro adapter M. This is product code 14409. This is product code 14652. So they are different Leica product codes, but they are both called the macro adapter M. They both will work on a modern M. You could put this one with the goggles on an M10 with the 90 macro, and it will work fine. Except you would do that if you really, really, really wanted to focus macro with the rangefinder. But to me, you're giving up so much with this adapter if you don't need to. You go with the current version and you gain so much more functionality. So my 2 cents on that. Let me just make sure.
Yeah, why don't we fire that up?
So let's
get that over here.
Let's pop. Let's go right to the 90 macro. So
90 macro on the
there are 2 versions of the 90 macro. They both work equally well. I've covered the differences before. I'm not going to dive into it too much right now, but I'm going to give David the 90 macro version 2, current version, catalog number 11670. I'm going to retract it or extend it fully. I'm going to lock it. I'm going to pop the macro adapter M current version onto the lens. I'm then going to take.
Let's get a close up of that.
I am going to take the M adapter L because we're using an SL2 here, like so. So now I've got, and I'll extend the focus out. So this is, if I extend this.
Why don't you tilt it forward so they can see the top? I just just rotate it this way so they can see. Yeah.
All right. So now we have the M adapter L, the macro adapter M fully extended, the 90 macro LMR M focused at minimum distance, and the lens fully expanded and locked. This is going to get you as close as possible with this setup. So I'm going to give it to David.
Yep.
Here we go. Make some magic happen.
Making the magic happen.
I'll take that.
That is so light.
Sorry. I know, right? It's like just as light as an M lens, which is wild when you consider that has
less dense though. Less dense than the M lens. All right.
Here we go.
Firing this up. So we got this is the macro.
90 macro LMR.
Yep.
F4 version 2. Macro adapter M, M adapter L on the SL2. All right. So this full frame, manual focus, M lens adapted.
Let's try to get. Now I've got minimum distance here, as Josh.
Yeah, we're going to be much farther back than the 60
because it's a 90.
Yeah.
Close. Let's see. Let's bring up that. That's not bad. Let's see. Yeah, well, not bad at all.
I'm going to zoom in.
Oh, I gotta
straighten it out first. Here we go.
Straighten it up.
And are we wide open? I didn't even check the aperture.
Oh, you know what? I'm going to move it back a little bit because I want to be fair in terms of the bokeh.
Okay. Are we wide open?
We are wide open.
Okay. I didn't check the aperture first. Here we go.
Okay, so we're zooming this in. I want to just show how easy it is to focus these lenses because they are so high resolving and such high contrast. And now we're going to pop back here and we're going to our focus magnification. And right about, we're focusing on the hands again?
Yeah, let's use the hand as our, of course, the hand is, it's getting later, so it's moving away. There we go.
Well, that's also in focus here.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Okay, here we go. Pop back, and we're going to take a shot. Hands off. There we go.
Look at that detail. This is one of the sharpest lenses in the M lineup, and now you see why. And again, we're at minimum.
The depth of field doesn't carry here.
We're wide open.
Yeah, but see the depth of field between just on the dial, the surface of the dial, and just the tilt of the watch. We have that in focus. That is not in focus.
Now, this is 1:2. This is not 1:1. I want to make sure that's clear. You can't actually get 1:1 with this current setup. But
look at that detail over there.
There is another toy, because I want to keep this setup on the camera.
Well, what I want to do is, let's do an F8 shot.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, let's do an F8 shot, and then we'll do our flowers, and then we'll compare. Okay, so we're at F8, and again, just like the R lenses, as we stop down, the camera is compensating in real time.
Jeffrey asks if the macro adapter M is used with the SL35 Apo. Well, you can't, because the macro adapter M is an M mount, so it only works with M lenses. There is no macro adapter currently for SL lenses. Wow.
Ouch.
That is,
I think I might get cut.
That is so, that's sharper than the 60.
Wow.
That's insane. Wow.
Yeah.
And don't forget, that's a full frame lens, so we're getting the full 47 megapixels.
Exactly.
Right
yeah. So we're getting more detail now. That's
remarkable.
And they are equivalent focal lengths, right? Because you have a 90 in full frame versus the 60 in APS is 90.
The difference is the 60 focus is twice as close.
Right.
Because it is 1:1, and here we're at 1:2. But the detail is extremely impressive.
And look at that, how crisp that edge is.
Yeah, that is.
It's not bad.
And again,
it's not bad.
I want to make something very clear. you can see how close David is to the subject in terms of reproduction.
Let's go to the So we're
this
about
setup that David has right now. All he has to do is collapse the lens, retract the adapter, and he can focus at infinity. He could walk around and shoot.
Yep.
No problem. No, he doesn't have to take the adapter out, put it in his pocket. He can just collapse everything, and he's got a regular, sharp, compact,
90.
lightweight 90.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
That's the versatility. That's the joy and the beauty of this combination. Now,
flower, and then they rabbit out of the hat.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Because I know you're excited.
Yes. Flower. We're doing good on time.
We're doing great.
While you're doing that, let me read Art's question here.
We're covering a lot of ground, guys.
Does what you describe about the full range focusing abilities of the 90 macro lens, both versions? Yes. Both versions of the 90 macro, version 1 and version 2, when used with the current version only of the macro adapter M, will give you the full range. The big difference is that the current version of the 90 locks when collapsed, so it won't extend on its own. The previous version of the 90 does not. So you risk, if the camera is pointed down, the lens will maybe kind of creep out and you'll have to push it back in. Also, ergonomically, the second version is much nicer with a much wider aperture ring and a better focus throw. And they're all 6-bit coded, which the first versions were not.
And it does have that different collapsible depth.
No, it's actually the same.
Is it the same?
It is the same. I tested this recently because they were like, it was very unclear when the new version came out, but you actually do get the full range.
Oh, cool.
Which is nice.
Nice.
But the 90 macro version 1 is not nearly ergonomically as pleasing. They are definitely a better value, and performance is still just as good. So it's actually kind of a nice way to get into that.
Oh, that's
if you
great.
can find one for sale by itself, because you don't need the
goggles.
Or the goggles unless you're shooting film or like on a 2.62 or something. So
all right.
Yeah. Flowers.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Are we wide open or what are we at?
This is we are wide open right now.
Okay.
We are wide open, and now I can actually compose.
Nice lightweight lens on there.
I gotta tell you, like, I think I'm just gonna do all my macro photography off a big screen. Like, this is nice.
This is really nice, yeah.
Guys, if you do a lot of this kind of work, having that ability to have a 4K HDMI out, and you can put it on like on a 4K television or computer monitor, it's just so much easier for working. I'm not squinting at the screen. I'm actually looking at our studio monitor right here, and it's so easy.
Subash, you can't use the multi-shot mode with a APS-C lens. On the SL2 and the SL2S, multi-shot only works with a full-frame lens.
Oof.
I know,
Wow.
we thought about the same thing when it was announced too, but
Look at that.
alas.
Look at that. All right, here we go.
All right, so we are at flower shot, wide open, 90 macro, full extension with
Yep.
macro adapter M.
Here we go.
That's a mouthful, but
Hands off.
sweet.
It definitely doesn't have that f2.5
Yeah,
look.
it does not have the same bokeh magic. This is a lens that is, and you can tell this is a purpose-built macro lens because it's not a bokeh lens.
No,
it's
but
not.
look at
It's a
that
detail lens. It's a field flatness lens. It's designed for maximum performance corner to corner.
And yet, again, those transitions
Pretty nice though.
are really nice.
I'm
and
actually
smooth.
pretty impressed seeing this performance for the first time.
That is really
Yeah,
nice.
That's pretty
but
nice.
but it's definitely has a lot more depth of field.
Yes, which is of course what you want if you're doing macro.
Sometimes.
Most of the time. Okay.
So let's do an f8 shot, and then we're gonna show the magic trick.
yes, because I know we're getting really
Here we
late,
go.
so I really want to cover this.
Hands off. Okay, now zoom in. Let's see what we get. I mean, it's just more depth of field,
It's not any sharper. It's just more depth of field.
That's really, really sharp, though.
It's a sign of a good lens right there.
That's it's pretty nice as we scroll around this image. So that is super, super nice. Okay,
So
tell me more, Josh.
we talked about the macro adapter M. Works with any M lens. It's adjustable. It's awesome. If you have M lenses and you like shooting close up, you need one. Done. But there's another cool doodad that's newer, introduced later.
Another doodad.
Yes, that's named after some of Leica's older macro solutions. That is somewhere the Leica ELPRO 52, or as apparently it's actually called the ELPRO E52.
Uh-oh.
Yes, I call it the ELPRO 52 because I can. Now, what is the ELPRO 52? You could think of this as a magnifying glass that threads onto the front of your lens. So no, the macro adapter M.
Put that behind it.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, you can see what it's doing.
Yeah, the macro adapter M has no glass and it goes between the camera and the lens. The ELPRO has two anti-reflective coated cemented lens elements. So it's high quality Leica glass, and it goes on the front of your lens. The advantage here is that lenses with exotic elements like floating lens elements and configurations that are designed to be a very specific distance from the imaging plane, sometimes you really need to stop them down a lot to get optimum performance with the macro adapter because it's relocating the position of those optics. Whereas with an ELPRO, because it's going on the front of the lens and not actually interfering with the lens's position relative to the image plane, you can shoot wide open more regularly without worrying about any loss of performance. The downside is this is a 52 millimeter filter size thread.
Hence the name.
That's why it's called the E52.
Right.
So if your lens has a filter size larger than that, like a 90 apo, 50 noctilux, 75 noctilux,
any of the SL primes.
Yeah, any of the SL primes, this will not work. So this only works on lenses with a 52 millimeter filter thread size or smaller. When you buy them, they come with a E49 and an E46 adapter rings. This is actually an aftermarket one, but I have here 49, 46, and 39 for the three most common sizes. Super easy to find step up and step down rings like that online. So now the ELPRO by itself is fun and awesome, and it gets you very close. What we're about to show you is the ELPRO plus the macro adapter, because the 90 macro is an E39.
If good is good, better is better, right?
Yes. So because the 90 macro is E39, I can take a 39 millimeter to 52 millimeter step up ring or step down ring. I can thread it onto the back of the ELPRO like so. There we go. Now I've got the step down.
And you can hand it to me, right?
Hand it to David. And now David's going to thread this on the front of the 90 and wait until you see how much closer you can get. Can you stack macro adapters? Yes, you can. You will lose a lot of light.
Oh,
is that dust on the sensor?
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
Look at that huge piece
Hold on.
Huge piece of glue on there. You got some kludgy on your sensor.
No, I came prepared. I actually have.
No, Julie stole it. Oh, you found it?
Nope,
Okay.
I have it. Hold on 1 second. We got to do the good thing. Because that was a filament.
Oh, the ELPRO does work on the Q2. We're going to show that next because I don't want to go this episode without showing the Q2. So we're going to show this and then we're going to just kind of skip around to the Q2 because Blake, that's a great question.
Here we go. Now look, that was my minimum focus distance before. Now it's just pure bokeh. Here we go.
I promise we're showing the Q2 next. We're going to skip some other stuff to show it. You should have the watch. That's a better.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Switching.
Do.
Yeah, put the lights on.
Super high-tech setup. I know.
Hey, it works. It works. How's it going, everyone?
Whoa.
Everyone's doing good? Okay. Yeah.
Oh, my
Look
word.
at that.
Guys, that is not magnified. That is full frame. 47 megapixels.
You should go down to you got the handle.
Amazingness.
You can barely see. There we go. Half the watch. That's what I like.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn it again since we're doing kind of more of a micro look. I'll just get that. I'll shoot the crown again because there's a lot of good detail there. And yeah,
give us a second here. Bear with us. Technicians are standing by. Focus technicians are standing by.
The working distance.
What are you doing?
I'm trying to focus, but the working distance is so short.
You have to move the camera.
Yes, that's what I'm doing. So
Yeah.
I am moving the camera, not trying to focus.
I don't like that composition so much. There we go. That's better.
Well,
That's what I want us to do. Oh, there we go. There we go. To get some depth.
That's what we're working on. All right.
So 90 macro,
Wow.
full extension.
Wow.
Macro adapter ELPRO 52.
And
That
let's
is-
magnify that.
Ridiculously close.
Let's see here.
Focus is a little off there.
Just a little bit. And this is where we can tweak it a hair.
Now here's an example where you actually are slightly losing wide open performance because you're adding additional elements in between.
Right.
So I want to be very clear. You really are not going to shoot wide open.
No, I'm going to stop this
This
down.
should be at f8. This is
F8. Here we go.
This is why we're showing you because
Here we go. F8. Now this is a pretty long
What happened to the crayons? I don't know. We ran out of time.
I have crayons.
That's
the bonus.
We're taking too long, so we're going to skip the crayons for right now.
Okay.
Because we're going to show the Q2 next.
It's very close.
Yeah, this is. There we go. So now you've stopped down. You've got your detail back, but definitely. Well, no, it's motion blur. That's motion blur for sure.
Well, I don't know that.
That's motion.
Yeah, that's motion blur. Let's do another one.
Not because the closer you get, just like using a telephoto lens, the more sensitive it is to motion.
It's so sensitive.
You can see it shaking in the. There we
Hold your
go.
breath.
So I'm actually adjusting the macro adapter right now. Now adjusting the focus.
Yeah, I only
on the
have one
lens.
macro adapter. If I had more than one, I promise. I'd stack them.
Let's try to. You know what I'm gonna do?
Nobody breathe. 12 seconds self timer.
Yeah, it's so
That's
long.
a long
though.
time.
Here we go.
Yes, if we had a rail, that would be so much easier
Here we go.
to use, like a focusing rail. But we don't. So
That's right.
there we go.
No motion blur and a little bit tweaked focus, but look at that.
Yeah, so close. Now,
This feels a lot more than 1:1.
I don't even think we should bother with the flowers because it's going to be so close. I want to go to the Q2.
It could be pretty though.
Now I want to go to the Q2. It's 9:36. Let's do that.
You're doing the Q2. I'm doing this. All right. The Q2 is queued up.
Now, the Q.
I need you to put the plate on there though. Put that plate on the Q2, and then while I do this, and that'll be
So
good.
as everybody knows, the Q2 has a built-in macro feature. So what I'm going to do is we're going to show, without any adapting. Sorry, I'm trying to put this thing on here. I'm struggling valiantly. Oh, it's like stuck. Give me a second. There we go. How the Q2 does. Why is it on? Jeez.
No, it has to be on
Oh, well, I turned it on.
because I have it on photos. We don't want to have to reconnect.
Too late. I'm doing my best. This
All
is not
right.
really,
All right. While he's struggling with that, Jose, can you throw up the? There we go. We're gonna try not to touch or breathe. There we go. Let's zoom in. Yeah, it's definitely. Look at that. I'm glad we actually are doing this right now because it's insane level of detail. Here we go. And hands off. There we go. That's. You better see this, Josh.
Wow.
oh, man. That's
Look,
pretty wild.
I mean, this is practically a biology experiment right there. This is insane.
That's pretty
It's
wild.
like you're inside the flower.
Like we are, yes, inside the flower. That's pretty good. And now what's amazing is look at that, how smooth that fall off is. That's F8. That is F8 on this setup. So if you're patient, you know, and you're willing to put in the time for this, this is a pretty awesome setup.
Yeah, I want to show the Q2 because those are
All right, let's
probably.
do it.
I mean, I know we didn't cover everything, but we'll probably finish on the Q2 because that's a big topic for people.
Are we
Let's-
connected?
I'm getting there. Let's talk a little bit about macro with the Q2, and now that you've seen a bunch of examples on the SL2, how does the Q2 work? So, if you give us a second,
Set this down here.
here we go. I'm gonna get.
You have a battery in there?
Battery's ready to go. Camera's connected. So I'm going to give this to you. And Nope. Give us a second. There, reestablish tripod configuration. You doing okay?
Oh yeah, doing great.
It seems like it.
There we go. Alrighty.
We don't have a CL, sorry, but just to put in the SL2 in crop mode, it's the same thing. Yeah. So what you saw with the 60 is the same view you're going to get on the CL.
Just with slightly higher resolution, 24 versus 20.
4 more megapixels. Yeah.
But without sensor-based image stabilization.
As you can see, we're already like behind. So.
Okay. I see live view here. I am going to prop this up because this is how I have to interact with the camera.
Okay. So now I put it at minimum.
Okay, we appear to be a little overexposed.
No, you don't.
No, we don't want to.
You got to do it from the app.
Yep, I'm going to do it from the app. Like I said, everything has to be done from the app.
Different.
So we're going to go from regular focus mode. Here, we can, if you throw up the iPad one.
Oh, did you put it back?
Yep, I put it back
Okay,
just so you
okay,
can
okay.
see. Oh, look, now you can actually see the
Let's not get distracted here.
crazy setup.
We're running out of time.
So you can see we can't focus that close. I'm going to try to autofocus and it doesn't work. So our minimum distance is about there. Nope,
Not even.
not even. Let's try it. It's about there. Okay, that's our minimum distance. You'll also notice on the screen I've got the 35 crop up because actually that's how I like to shoot macro on the Q2. So you're giving up the full 47 and you're left with, what is it, 30 megapixel or 33? I forget.
30, I think
30, yeah, 30 megapixel in the 35 crop mode, and to me it just feels more natural as a crop. So I'm going to switch over to the macro mode, which now goes a minimum distance, shifts that down to 17 centimeters from 30 centimeters. And we're going to try to get as close as we can here. And clearly we're getting closer. I need something higher than this. Wait.
Yeah, something you
Oh, yeah. Oh, you know what?
Gaffer tape.
Gaffer tape fixes everything.
All right,
Here we go.
Here we go. That looks good. That's a good height.
Yeah. Okay.
Super high quality.
Hey, listen, only the best for Red Dead Forum Camera Talk, right?
That's great.
All right. And I am working within the crop box here, so you'll notice that I'm seeing a lot. I need to adjust my exposure down.
There we go.
Okay,
so we're looking at the Photos app right now, in case you guys are wondering what you're seeing.
I'm using the iPad.
Yeah.
Okay, to control the
you
camera.
Can get closer than this, can you?
Let's see how close we can get. I think actually...
back up a little bit?
Yeah, I want to back up just a touch.
No, get closer. It's just a little bit... I think it's because the resolution of the live view outputting is not great. This is what we get spoiled with the SL2's output.
Okay.
Try taking a shot.
Yeah, that looks pretty good. So I'm going to take a shot
here.
You
can see how we're much, much farther away than we were.
All right, now I'm going to just go to playback.
Not as nice as it was on the other. I told you, we should have just pointed the SL2 at the back of the Q2. That's what I was saying.
Okay, here we go. All right, that's not bad.
We're wide open?
Yeah, so let me download the... Oh, that's why. That's why the thing looked...
Gotta do it on the app.
Yeah, I do have to do it on the app. There we go. Camera settings. Sorry, guys. 1 second here.
This is the first time we've done this, so you know.
File format. We want to do DNG plus.
By the way, on the Q2, you switch it to macro. The widest aperture is 2.8, correct?
Correct, because for the same reason that the 60, once you get to a certain distance, it's about equivalent exposure. So even though the aperture is
wide open,
it has to accommodate for that by reducing the aperture displayed on the camera.
Okay, so now we go in here, and I'm going to download. You see the JPEG, the full-size JPEG, because that'll give me then, and you see the little progress bar at the top.
This is a good demonstration of the Photos app.
It really is.
Actually.
Okay, so that just downloaded, and now, and I zoom in, we can actually see the detail. Now that's
really good.
That's really good.
But nowhere near as close as you could get on any of the setups we've shown today.
No, but that is not.
But performance is excellent.
Oh my God, that is not bad. That is not bad at all. This is wide open. Yeah. Now, bokeh's not crazy.
Yeah, but it's a 28, so you're not going to get that kind of bokeh.
Right.
But that's
not bad.
Let's put the ELPRO on there and see what happens.
Sure.
I'm going to give you an ELPRO. So now that's the Q2. I'm going to give you the ELPRO
with 49
52 with the 49 millimeter.
Oh, and let me measure and the working distance, as we already know, we don't have to measure it. It's 17 centimeters. It's this big.
Let me just clean off the ELPRO a little bit.
Yeah, and it is really nice working on the iPad, so I can actually see.
All right, so thread that sucker onto the front. Let's go back to live view.
Yep, going back to live view.
Mike is asking, what is actually happening mechanically in the Q2 when switching to macro mode?
Good question.
It shifts the lens elements around.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's moving lens elements around.
Oh, this is cool. Look. Okay, I like that.
Like exactly what's happening, I'm not sure. I have to ask a optical engineer.
Yeah, I do think it's shifting the focusing group. Reorienting the lens.
All right, so now we're threading this on. There we go.
Oh my. Let's see. Can we even... Oh, so it'll still focus at the minimum size, but you'll notice that it's magnified now.
Yeah.
And let's see. It's going to get us pretty close. I actually have to move the tripod so that I don't... sorry. The tripod foot was about to slide off the table here. Okay, we're going to try it right here. That's pretty good, although crooked still. Killing my OCD-ness. Okay, so now let's focus right here in the middle. We're going to take a shot. And again, let's go to playback. I actually did this on the Q2 monochrome earlier when I was setting up because Josh had the Q2 color, and it was a lot faster to do the Photos app because the files are smaller. So we're going to go back, download the JPEG real quick to get the full res. Now look at those. Look at the bokeh. It's actually
pretty
really
nice.
Yeah.
Now that we got the ELPRO on there, it's pretty nice. I didn't like it as much without it.
That's not bad.
Detail's still excellent.
That is not bad.
I think if you have a Q2 and you like shooting macro, if you don't have an ELPRO 52, again, you're missing out. I know that sounds crazy, because it's so small. Just slide it in your bag. If you want to get close, you just thread it on. If you want to have some fun. I don't know. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Jose, throw the iPad full screen so everyone can see the quote. There we go.
What is the reproduction ratio of the Q2?
I actually don't know off the top of my head. It's not 1-to-1.
No,
sure.
not even close.
Yeah.
I think it might be 1-to-3.
Maybe. But you can see we're not getting a super great edge performance. It's not bad.
Not bad.
It's not bad.
Yeah. So let's throw the flowers in there and see what we get.
Yeah. We're still wide open?
Yeah.
Oh, that's why it would look like that.
Oh,
You're not going to shoot macro wide open.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah, we got to stop down, man. Because again, it's not realistic to shoot a watch.
So here you can see. Right. So we're gonna go.
Let's go to F8. Go to F8.
So you see, I'm dialing in F8 on the app.
There we go. Now let's actually do this the right way. Here we don't need to use self-timer because the iPad is acting like a remote. Release,
exactly. So. I'm not touching anything.
Yeah.
I got to say, working with the app is really nice too.
It's just unfortunately the resolution output of the live view is not.
Yeah. Normally you wouldn't be jumping back and forth.
All right. Let's take a look.
Okay, that's entirely decent.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I didn't download. Hold on, I didn't download the full res. This is what happens. We don't do things that we're supposed to do.
This is a good proof of concept, though. I think we could do this for other types of things.
All right. So what do you think of that?
Now we're talking. That's pretty darn impressive. If I can say so myself.
Let's jump to the full view here. Let's see what we get. Look at that.
Yeah, that's pretty darn good. Okay, so if you have a Q2 and you're playing with the ELPRO,
Ooh.
wide open, just be aware that you're going to have very little
limit,
to focus. But F8 performance is excellent.
Look at that. Yeah.
Rick, any M lens with a filter thread smaller than 50 or 52 or smaller will work.
Look at that. That is really nice.
Wider than 50.
I'm just like amazed by this imagery.
Yeah, wider than 50, it's not ideal, but it does work. Nice.
All right, let me throw the flowers up here real quick.
Yeah, let's do that real quick.
All right. Oh, nice bokeh shot, by the way.
That is really nice, actually.
Oh, I tried to focus.
You broke it.
Because I'm in autofocus.
But
it's okay. That looks really pretty, though. Okay, let's get the flowers in here. I'm going to unplug the lights. And...
Do you need to have them on the gaff tape, or...?
No, I don't think so. No, gaff tape's coming out.
Shoot down.
Oh, you know what? The other thing is, I think the white balance...
And you don't put your exposure down.
I did, yeah. Because the dark background. So let's dial this back up. I think that's good.
Yeah, that's good. That's
okay. Good. And what I like also about the 35 crop frame is it almost reminds me of composing with an M viewfinder, which is really neat.
Yeah, that is cool.
All right, I'm going to focus. Let's say there. No, let's do the close focus. And I'm actually going to turn it a little bit so we get more of the fall off.
Are you wide open again, or you're at F8 still?
I am at F8. Let me open that up. Okay, so we're at wide open. I'm tapping focus, taking a shot. Now, also just to save time, I am gonna shoot this at F8. Tap to focus, shoot. Okay, now we're gonna go review both of those.
This is a nice testament to the flexibility of the Q2. A self-contained camera that actually does pretty darn well. I mean, I think you do need the ELPRO if you really are serious about doing macro with the Q2, just because 17 centimeters is not that close, but...
Especially with the 28.
Blake asked, is there an ELPRO for SL lenses? No, there is not. They don't make anything that large.
They make a close focus adapter for the 180, but it doesn't work.
It doesn't work on anything else. No, so if you want to shoot macro with the SL, you have to use one of the solutions that we've shown today.
So you can see, 2.8,
you're not going to use this at 2.8. You really shouldn't.
It's a little,
blah, 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 blah.
It's a little softer. So let's take a look at the next one here. This is at 2.8, at F8 rather. And you can see it's still got crazy fall off in bokeh. So really with the ELPRO, you want to stop down a little bit.
It's okay.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
It's not, it definitely makes you appreciate what those extremely high-end prime lenses will do.
Yes, for sure.
This is pretty good, though, considering that we're putting a magnifying glass over the lens of the Q2. But
I think it's pretty.
Yeah,
it's definitely pretty.
Yeah, it's not as technical. It's not as technical as, let's try, because we're really getting down to the wire here.
Yes, we are.
An M lens with the ELPRO with, that's not a macro lens. I've got the 75 Apo here. I've already got the E49 adapter on there.
Yep.
So let's do the macro adapter with, pardon my reach. There we go.
Okay. With the ELPROs?
Mm-hmm.
We're going all out.
We're going all out.
We're jumping right to the end here.
So I've got a 75 APO M, macro adapter M, R adapter, or M adapter L with the ELPRO. There we go. All right. So first I'm going to pop this bad boy in here. I'm going to pick this bad boy in here because the 75 APO is, of course, an E49. Let's get a close up of this. So look at that. We put it at, here we go, 75 APO. Wow. It's just like, it just looks cool. It's almost like the Space Shuttle, like with like the booster stages kind of thing.
It's like the opening of Spaceballs.
It's like how many, it's just like, how many things can you attach to your lens?
Oh my gosh, that looks awesome.
That's cool, right?
It's like steampunk.
It is cool. Really, really, really cool.
It's very cool.
I like this a lot. So why don't you grab that? Would this fit on here?
What is that?
This is the, wait, R adapter, because this is a, no, it's the other way around, isn't it? Oh, too bad. Okay.
What do you want to put?
No, nothing. I just want to see how long I can make this.
No. I
ridiculous
think this is it.
Greg, yes, the same performance on the original Q. The macro functionality is the same. Whether you have a Q or Q2.
Looks amazing.
All right.
I'm sorry. That looks amazing. Okay.
You want to go to the watch?
Yeah. Let's go to the watch.
Okay. So we 75 APO M, macro adapter M, ELPRO 52 on the SL2. That's a mouthful.
Woo. Okay.
It's exciting.
I'm excited.
I'm just looking at this. That's pretty cool. A picture of the light.
Seriously. Yeah. Okay. Let's throw up the little working thing. Yeah. I
love it. I love it.
That means there's dust on our lens.
Oh my goodness.
By the way. Oh my gosh. That.
That's on the sensor.
Well,
I mean, I'm about to clean the ELPRO.
Oh my gosh.
A lot of surfaces here at play.
Wait,
Where's the watch? Bro?
I don't even know where the watch is.
So are you?
This is amazing. Okay.
What are you doing right now?
We're backing up is what I'm doing. What are we focused on right now? Is it really that close?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So this is going to have to be very, 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 very... Oh, wow.
Yeah, see? There you go.
This is...
Okay, go closer? Yeah, okay. That's what now, this is what wide open looks like. This is so glowy.
And just so you know, I mean, this is 75 Apo Summicron.
Yeah, this lens has a floating element, which means it's not going to like being on a macro adapter because of wide open.
You know what we just did?
What?
We just turned a clinically sharp 75 Apo Summicron into a Thambar.
We pretty much. That is. Zoom in and see if we can actually get, regardless of the glowiness, get focus. Let's do the crown. Let's do the crown
it's just so cool.
I mean, certainly this will give you a distinct macro shot.
It's like a vintage look.
A vintage look. And a lens designed for maximum performance.
I know. This is
pretty funny.
Peter Carb is rolling over in his bed right now. I guess.
Right, it's pretty late in Germany. All right, that is.
I'm.
You need to magnify.
Magnify and enhance.
Please do.
Well, look at that.
There we go.
Oh my gosh.
Where is the focus?
I don't even know. This is so.
Oh,
wow. There it is.
There it is. Yeah, just basically no contrast.
Whoa. Whoa.
We'll take a picture. Let's see what it looks like.
Oh my gosh.
Let's see what it looks like.
I feel like the golden age of Hollywood right here.
Look at that. That is that's a thing. That is a thing. That's a thing right there.
It's something.
Let's try it F8.
I think we should. Let's go to F8. Oh wow.
Yeah. What a difference.
That's not even F8. That's 5.6.
Let's go to F8 though. I want it all in. Here we go.
All in at F8.
Yeah, here we go.
And now let's
settle.
That is
a little bit better, I'd say.
A little bit?
Yes.
I mean,
nope.
There we go.
There you go.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
look, you can see
David's reflection in the
somewhere. Yeah, those are my hands. Here we go.
All right,
okay.
Let's take a shot here.
Well, that composition's awful.
Oh, why did you have to change it? You just got it.
I did just get it, but I don't want to like photograph the edge of the thing. Here, let me just move this. That was like the edge of the stand. Okay. I just put my foot up here. Yep. Okay. Sorry, guys. This is, what Josh was saying is this is kind of, macro is a different animal in terms of what's required and that kind of the patience level required to do this.
Not a fast form of photography.
Let me move. Sometimes it's easier to move your subject, which I just did.
There you go.
All right, now right about there looks pretty darn good.
Yeah.
All right.
Here we go. F8.
That was a long shot. All
there
right.
you go.
That's
not bad. Still very little depth of field,
well,
but now you're really seeing the detail come through.
This is actually one of our most detailed shots
this
yet.
is pretty impressive. Although it's not a lot of focus. It's really
No, but it's impressive.
Okay, it's almost 10.
Flower shot. Let's do a flower
Instead
shot.
of a flower shot, Jose, go to the wide shot.
Whoa, did you see that?
I did see that.
Jose, go back to the bokeh balls. Although I think calling them balls is generous.
Bokeh circus tents.
Those are crazy.
That's pretty nuts.
Those are crazy.
Burning questions of things we've talked about or things we haven't talked about. While David is setting up the flower shot. Any burning questions in the chat? Jose?
Let's see.
Jose's done. It's been chilling. I'm so sorry.
He's not chilling. He's been working.
Yes,
all right.
But before you go to the flower shot, let me just see.
Can you stack micro adapters?
Yes.
I think I've tried to kind of fire off questions.
Yeah, some of them we did answer.
Okay. What is that shape? That shape is the.
Who knows?
Is the
It's like the inverse.
The ELPRO magnifying and then inverting. I don't even know. The crazy stuff's going down right now.
Stuff going down.
All right, what do we got?
All right.
Can you use a ring flash with micro mode on the Q2?
I don't see why not. I'm not really like a ring flash expert. Leica doesn't make one, which means I don't know anything about it.
I mean, I honestly, what we're using continuous light here. I'd really recommend. They make it for beauty kind of producer, content creators, and things. They make color accurate LED ring lights. And that's a lot easier to work with because you don't have to worry about any synchronization issues. It'll also help with focus and composition.
Yeah. Good point.
And they're really inexpensive.
Yeah. All right. Take a shot.
Let's do it.
Is there a way to shoot macro with a rangefinder? Kind of. If you scroll back a little bit when we're done, you can see I talked about the first version of the macro adapter M, which is rangefinder coupled. It only gives you a 1:3 reproduction ratio, but it does work. But ideally, you'd have an M that has live view. And
wow, look at.
Yeah.
Okay, that is very close. Let's shoot that.
Oh my goodness, that's very close.
Yes. So that is f8. That's crazy, right?
Could you put an ELPRO on a Deluxe? Probably. Compact cameras will be another episode.
What do you think of that, Josh?
Stay tuned. That is.
It's definitely a thing.
Mike Knobloch asks a question that I have to answer, but
Yeah.
I have to answer it politely.
Sure.
He asks, worth adding the 90 macro to your kit if you have the 90 Apo and the macro adapter? Is the performance that different?
Yes.
Night and day.
Yeah.
Like, the 90 Apo is a low contrast portrait bokeh lens.
I think it's going to be very similar to what we're seeing here with the 75 Apo.
The 90 macro is a better lens optically in every way. I'm not saying the 90 Apo is a bad lens. 90 Apo is beautiful, and it's very, very difficult to make a lens look like that. But from a technical perspective and performance, both as a macro lens and as just a 90, the 90 macro, and if you watch our telephoto episode, you'll see I talked about this. The 90 macro is the sharpest telephoto, or the sharpest 90 Leica's ever made, maybe tied with the 90 Summilux, which is like a whole other animal. So if you're looking for performance, 90 macro is, even at f8, the difference is there. The center and the corners especially, field flatness, vignetting or lack thereof, across the frame sharpness is second to none on the 90 macro. They call it a 90 macro. It's a little confusing because it's only a macro lens with the adapter. Without it, it's just a small, sharp, collapsible 90 f4. It's not a macro lens. It just, Sorry, that was a long answer.
Yeah, we got a question over email too, which is discuss ELPRO versus macro. So I think we've demonstrated already.
Yeah.
Because this question came in a while ago, because I haven't been looking at my phone. But I mean, basically, I would say that we've shown the native macro lenses tend to be higher performing. But they're going to be longer lenses. They're going to be your 60s and 90s and 100s.
James asks, what gives better performance on the SL2, the 100 macro R or the 75 Apo M? Definitely the 100 macro R. A dedicated macro lens is always going to be better for macro than an adapted lens, especially an exotic lens like the 75 Apo. To me, the Apo Summicron M lenses are really lenses designed to be used wide open for a very, very unique look. I wouldn't use them for landscape if I didn't have to. I wouldn't use them for macro. What I mean is, I would use a 75 Sumrit. Like, why? Because I don't need f2 when I'm out shooting landscape, so I'd bring something smaller and lighter. But for macro, the 100 macro are definitely better than the 75 because it doesn't require any adapters.
No.
If you don't need,
as we showed here. But, the nice thing about either the macro adapter M and or the ELPRO 52 is if you have an existing M kit,
well, that's the beauty of it.
Why not just add it?
Yeah, there's no real reason if you're interested in doing macro work not to get either or the ELPRO 52 or the macro adapter.
I think we're also we're using the extreme edge case here. The odds are you're going to be using one or the other, not both simultaneously. So I'm just going to show them this is just the ELPRO on the 75 because it kind of goes to that previous question.
While you're doing that, so if I own the SL2, so ask Jim D, and want to shoot good macro and keep it simple, 60 macro seems to be the easiest point of entry. Do you mean the 60 macro TL or the 60 macro R? Which one? Clarify, and then I'll respond better. Jim D. A lot of James and Jims on our chat today. We need to have like a James Leica club.
There's also a question from Jason.
Okay, what did Jason ask?
Right before James.
So is the 1449 correct for parallax using the viewfinder? Yes, it does. That's why it has two goggles instead of just one.
So it magnifies the viewfinder and then it gives like a corrective parallax.
Yeah. It's not perfect, but it's pretty close.
It's close. You can use that on M7.
Yeah.
Let's throw this up there and I'll show you a little more realistic view. Now, this is also at wide open and it, again, we get that kind of classic glow here. And it is definitely a little lower contrast. Let's see.
Oh, TL, yes. Yeah, that's what TL, 60 TL on the SL2. No adapters, nothing additional. You just pop the lens on there and it's going to blow your mind.
Okay. So let's do this. So you can see wide open. Let's just take a shot.
Checking into the James Leica Club. I'm telling you, there's a lot of James on this.
So this is wide open with the ELPRO with the 75 Apo-Summicron M.
So no macro adapter.
Right. Sorry, this is actually a little mislabeled because we have a macro adapter on screen. That's actually not the case. So hold on. Let's.
So this is 75 Apo.
Yep.
This is what you see, Jose, except no macro adapter.
Yep. We're going to do a hard delete on that macro adapter M. Just so you guys, there we go.
50
that is
Summilux,
now accurate.
Rick asks, opinion on 50 Summilux spheric for occasional macro work, macro adapter, ELPRO, or both? Let me look at my notes on that because I did some testing today. I would say macro adapter gets you a little bit closer. I do think ELPRO maintains performance a little better. They're pretty close because I had done some testing today. It's 4 inches to subject with the macro adapter, 4¼ inches with the ELPRO, and both, if you want to know, is 2¼ inches with both set up. So I probably start with the ELPRO because it's really easy. It just spreads right on the front. And if you enjoyed using that and you want to continue to get closer, then get the macro adapter M. It's also like almost half the price. So.
Is it really? Yeah. Let's take a look at the photo full size here. So I'm gonna just play back. So you can. I'm gonna play back better. There we go. I mean, it's definitely dreamy.
Yeah.
You get that really. And some people. This is not easy to create in post-processing.
I want you to do that same shot, David, except instead of the ELPRO by itself, do the macro adapter by itself. Let's do that.
Well, before I do that, I want to stop down and then I'll compare those. Okay. So I'm gonna stop this down again.
Sean wants to try that, and I agree.
Yep, I'm gonna stop this down to F8. Is there something moving inside that? There's a bug inside that flower.
Is it really? Where?
No.
Yeah, there's something there.
Yeah, there's something moving inside the flower. It's alive.
Creepy.
Okay, here we go. Just to give you an idea of really, the difference that we have in performance, stopping down just a little bit, it creates a much, much, much more usable.
Blake wants to know if he'll post these images that we're taking. Probably not.
Probably not.
But if you email me, as you know how to do, because we've talked before, and want like a particular combination to see, I'm happy to just fire off a shot in the store and send it to you. So.
Yeah, let's jump back. Okay, so we're going to do that same sequence here without moving the camera.
All right, so this is 75 Apo with the macro adapter M and no ELPRO. I'll take that. Thank you. You still got the adapter on there?
I do.
Okay.
This is what we call a fun Saturday night. Slaying with all the things. Okay, So here we go, wide open.
90 fan bar with a macro adapter. I don't think anything would be in focus, Andy. Although that's a fascinating question.
So the working distance, just to show you.
Are you at wide open?
I am, yeah.
Okay.
Whoops, okay. And now, there we go. So you definitely can't get as close. Oh, I'm still not far enough away.
Yeah, 75 apo is, here, ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Working distance to subject from front of the lens, 4 inches with the ELPRO, 7.25 inches with the macro adapter, 3.25 inches with both. So you can see you're almost twice as far working distance with the macro adapter as you are with the ELPRO on the 75.
But look, this is wide open.
Performance significantly improved.
Oh my gosh.
Case, yeah.
Like not even a little bit. This is a lot better.
That's a big difference.
So here we go. This is going to be at f2. And just for comparison's sake, we're going to shoot this at f8. Completely different results.
Yeah.
I mean, the ELPRO is a lot of fun, but you do have to stop it down.
Yeah.
Wow, that is.
Yeah.
This is the performance I expect from this lens.
Yeah. Nice.
So, maybe, here, let me go back. So here we've got, oops, that is not what I wanted to do.
Let me just answer this question. This question would apply, and I'm not going to. Jerry asks, would an APS-C lens and an SL2S in crop mode produce a usable file in terms of resolution? Well, it's 10 megapixels, so if you're printing no bigger than 60 by 20, I don't see why not.
Okay, so that is not that. Okay.
Where did that come from?
Sorry, those were other pictures. Okay. This is one of my old memory cards. All right, so this is, that is f2, and that's f8 on the macro adapter. So that's a pretty sizable difference.
And scroll back one more to the ELPRO.
Right. Now that's the ELPRO at f8.
Yeah.
And then this is the ELPRO at f2.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine art right there. That's a good result.
Yeah.
That's a perfectly good result. And, that's also excellent. So we've got some options.
Yeah, I think we probably should start wrapping up. So, man, we've covered a lot of macro stuff, and we have not covered it all. And we never can. So, obviously, drop a question in the comments if we didn't cover it. We are, just from a logistical sense, we are doing Noctilux 1 week from today. We took a bit of a schedule change to get this episode ready. So we're getting back on our schedule. So we have Noctilux next Saturday, and then 2 weeks is episode 30. That'll be our Ask Us Anything. And then after that, who knows? So I will be covering the history of the Leica Noctilux. I have yet to secure an original 1.2 Noctilux, though. So if you're watching this and you have an original 1.2 Noctilux that you're willing to loan me, I will be very appreciative.
Does it involve a haiku?
It may involve a whole Shakespearean sonnet at this point. Because I can certainly do a show without it. I can talk about it, but I would love to have an original 1.2 Noctilux to show. Obviously, we would cover the shipping and the insurance and all that. So I wanted to throw this in there at the end, a plea. If anyone has an original 1.2 50 Noctilux to loan us for next week's show, I will be happy. I'll owe you one, and you want to be owed a Josh favor. That's a very valuable thing.
That's listen.
Yeah, we had a good time. This was fun. David did a really good job on that macro setup. I gave him a lot of hard time up front that it wasn't going to work out, but man, it really did. So I have to eat my words, and I'm glad.
There was some doubt about my $30 little tent here.
Yeah, this I will say on air that it worked really, really well, and I'm very impressed. There are obviously tons of combinations you can use with the ELPRO and or the macro adapter M. We did not show them all tonight, but I would encourage you to experiment.
I think it might be interesting, having a setup like this, and kind of doing what we're doing, but someone asked about publishing the results. I wouldn't be opposed to doing a kind of a more formalized image comparison, everything like say wide open at f4,
I think
at f8.
We'd have to have like 3 shots per lens, right? Macro,
and then different subjects.
I think there's definitely interest in that, and I would agree.
Yeah, drop a comment if you guys want to see that. If you want me to work on that, because I figure what else do I have to do this week, right?
Nothing
all of the other things.
We did it.
We did.
We survived the macro episode.
Is there any lingering?
I didn't see any lingering question. Just
comments?
Some compliments. Thank you everybody for being nice to us when we're trying something new. Yeah.
Normally, I don't shoot macro like this. Normally, I'm actually out in the real world. I love macro photography.
We had to make it suitable for television consumption, except on the internet.
Internet television, right? So it's good.
We did it.
I hope you'll join us for our Noctilux, whatever that's going to be, soiree.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Fun times.
And we're gonna have a good time talking about that. And of course, remember M-Noctiluxes don't just have to be used on M cameras. They can be used on the SL, the SL2.
The CL. The original
CL?
T.
The
TL2.
You know,
the TL.
When I think about a 90 Summilux or 75 Noctilux, I immediately think about using it on the first generation T.
Why not? That'd probably be pretty fun. I'm gonna bring one next time.
Now you're gonna do it.
I'm gonna bring one.
You're gonna do it.
Yes, I am.
Yeah. All right. Well, as always, a big thanks to Jose. He did a Herculean job producing this because you guys have no idea the amount of graphics and pre-prep and all that stuff that he had to handle today, which is just insane. Big thanks to Josh, as always. He tested everything. We may not have shown it, but he spent hours and hours and hours testing. So big props to Josh. And of course, thanks to Kirsten for keeping things civil in the comments. And thanks to you guys for sticking with us and watching it. We're here to make content for you. Please like and subscribe to Red Dot Forum for more cool content like this. Of course, make sure to hit that notification bell so you know when we post new content. And as always, you can check out red.forum.com for the latest Leica news, reviews, tech articles, image comparisons, more. I just posted a black and white ISO showdown this past week that you definitely want to check out. And relevant products that we talked about on the show, I've got in the comment section below. And I think that's it. We did it. Thank you. Good night, and we will see you in the next episode.
Good night, everybody.
Take care.
Good night, guys.
Thank you.